7,000 private sector jobs created last month. President Trump says it's high time for the Fed to cut interest rates to spur economic growth. He's terribly wrong. House Speaker Mike Johnson's assessment of Elon Musk's opposition to President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill.
Johnson told reporters, quote, "With all due respect, my friend Elon is terribly wrong about the One Big Beautiful Bill." Johnson said he spoke over the phone with the former chief of the Department of Government Efficiency Initiative for what he described as a friendly conversation of more than 20 minutes Monday about the virtues of the bill. Johnson said he discussed with Musk the accelerated many recent subsidies in the House version of the bill, something Musk had voiced opposition to in recent days. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
As the clock struck midnight, the tariffs on imported steel and aluminum doubled to 50%. President Trump ordering that sharp increase. Federal regulators may be set to take another look at the abortion pill.
The Hill is reporting that Food and Drug Administration head Marty Makary has vowed to review the abortion drug mifepristone. Makary wrote in a letter to GOP Missouri Senator Jeff Hawley that, as with all drugs, the FDA continues to closely monitor the post-marketing safety data on mifepristone for the medical termination of an early pregnancy. As the Commissioner of Food and Drugs, I am committed to conducting a review of mifepristone and working with professional career scientists at the agency who review this data. Keith Peters, Washington.
Some of the country's midsection, including parts of Missouri, have been pummeled by fierce storms, bringing destructive winds and flash flooding. Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, stock futures now in the red. The Dow futures are down 33 points, while the NASDAQ futures are off 11. S&P futures 2 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Big news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange. And millions like you are joining our news revolution. Newsmax is now the fourth highest rated news channel, just behind CNN. Reuters says we're one of the top news brands in America. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and more. So download our free Newsmax app on your smartphone or TV and start watching. President Trump says Newsmax is truly terrific. Get the free Newsmax app and check out Newsmax shares on the stock exchange. Go to newsmaxinvest.com. That's newsmaxinvest.com. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such an offer would be unlawful.
A former Israeli ambassador to the U.S. is drawing a direct line between false media reporting and a growing number of anti-Semitic attacks.
They lie and media die, and Jews die.
Dr. Michael Oren says it all begins with bias and false reporting about Jews and the war in Gaza.
When was the last time you heard that maybe Hamas, not Israel, bears 99% of the responsibility for the violence in Gaza?
He says that's why the media is partly to blame for the rise in anti-Semitism.
And it's about time we hold the media responsible and that they engage in some serious introspection.
Oren was interviewed by the Salem Radio Network. Bob Agnew reporting.
Muslims from around the world are now in the Saudi city of Mecca for this year's Hajj pilgrimage. In the coming days, people will immerse themselves in religious rituals and acts of worship. They'll also have to deal with extreme heat and other earthly considerations like a ban on children younger than 12, as well as a crackdown on unauthorized entry. News and analysis at townhall.com. More headaches for air travelers.
2 United Airlines flights from San Francisco International were diverted over the weekend. On Sunday, a flight to Sydney made an emergency stop in Honolulu and was later canceled without details. The crew sent a code indicating general distress. The day before, a flight to Beijing returned to San Francisco due to a mechanical issue. Earlier this month, a United plane had a near miss with another aircraft after a wrong turn during takeoff, and on May 6th, the plane clipped wings with another during taxiing. Tasha Stevens reporting.
For the leaders of America's Jewish institutions, recent attacks in Colorado and Washington, D.C. are stark reminders of their responsibility to remain vigilant. Now they're sounding the alarm for more help after a dozen people were injured in Boulder, Colorado, and then just over a week earlier, 2 Israeli embassy staffers fatally shot outside a Jewish museum in Washington, D.C. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy hump day.
Yes, sir.
Middle of the week. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Hey, Mike. Guess what day it is?
One of my favorite commercials.
Hump day.
Actually, it's the number 2 word. Number 1 was the Life cereal.
Oh, yeah.
That one was much more traumatizing.
You know, it does pose a question. This was on my one of the stories on my show prep today, and I really hadn't thought about it until I saw this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like your name?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Like, have you ever thought about it and said, like, I prefer, like, do you think it's too common? Do you
I don't
and
think
not
it's
you
too common,
specifically, but like if that was the question that was posed in this study.
Well,
and it got me thinking about it too, because like I've always liked my name.
Yeah.
Except everybody always makes the same joke, and they think they're being so original by calling me Scene.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're not. I've heard it.
Yeah. When just rule of thumb, people of jokesters. When you think you're funny because you're making fun of someone's name, I mean, I'm not opposed to name. You know, I've done it with the best of them.
Oh, I'm guilty of quite a few.
But that being said, if you're making fun of someone's name, I guarantee you, whatever you said, they've heard at least 300 times.
Now, I will say, I think I came up with a relatively original one for one guy.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who...
Here's a guy.
His name is James, and I've taken to just starting to call him Jim.
Okay.
Because he's a younger man, and he's always been James his whole life.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I go, Jim. And of course, he has to have something to come back, so the so popular Jonathan.
I like Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan comes up quite often. Having one of those names that's not short for anything, it's sort of like you have to add something, you know?
Yeah. Well, and my name is always, Mike is, I go by Mike. That's just how. I do not like the Mikey thing, and it's because of the Life cereal as a kid. I literally was like that. I was born into the world right at the height of that commercial, and like I lived with my grandmother till I was about 4, and the neighbors were nice people and everything else, but they always called me Mikey and like, oh, yeah. Mikey will eat it. He eats anything, and Mikey this and it was like. And so even to this day, I mean, I don't get visceral about it, but people that call me Mikey, I do not prefer.
Right.
I do not find it fun. It's not funny.
There's a man of almost 40 years of age who I know, whose name is David.
Right.
But his middle name is Michael. And to this day, everybody who knows him as Mikey.
Mikey.
Mm-hmm. And he's just always run with it.
And that's fine. Most, I just grew up in that time where the Life cereal thing. Now, that being said, when people are like, hey, what's up, Mikey? That doesn't bother me. That's just, the group. But there's still that people, Mikey. And then Michael, my mother called me Michael. My aunt calls me Michael. And
Kit called me Michael.
And Carl Lucas calls me Michael. Those are the only 3 people. And he always calls me Michael like Kit from Knight Rider.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael, how are you today?
Stop. Stop saying it like that. It's weird.
And you can't lengthen Carl. It just isn't.
Oh, well, you can, Carl.
Oh, yeah. The only thing you got now is The Walking Dead. Carl! But short of that.
So here's a question. When you don't like the Mikey because of the life cereal connotations, so
Correct.
why not rebrand it? Because you're a fan of old school radio duos.
Yeah.
You grew up on East Coast radio. You know who Mike and the Mad Dog are.
Sure.
Mad Dog always said, "That's right, Mikey." That's why I've always done that. That's right, Mikey. So that's all you got to do is you got to rebrand it. You got to shift what it means.
I just don't like it enough to care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm good with Mike. Just call me Mike.
That's fair. That is fair.
I mean, I don't mind the Mikey when say, "Hey, what's up, Mikey?" But when it's the Mikey, I'm just like, stop.
So what about you, Kimberly?
Good morning, Mikey Boo.
See, now there's a new syllable. Mikey Boo. I like that.
Yeah, when other people call me that looks weird.
But that's the thing.
That's on you then.
There are certain pet names that will just crawl under 2 layers of your skin and just live there forever. And mine, the bane of my existence, is Shawnee.
Shawnee.
There's only a few people on the planet that are allowed to call me Shawnee. My mom and my sister are 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
And there are only a couple more that can get away with it. Shawnee is my N-word.
You were asking something.
Oh no!
Oh, your name.
The question that we're talking about today is do you like your name?
Yes.
Your first name.
Do
you think it's unique? That it's not super common?
Not super common, but not unique either.
Yeah, it's not real. Like, you don't see it every day. That's kind of like Sean. It's like there are a few famous Seans. There's a few famous Kims. Cattrall.
Of course, Kim
Kardashian.
is short.
Yeah.
Shortened version.
Sure. Well, my name is
Kimberly.
Now, that's the next question is, do people, when they're trying to be serious with you, call you Kimberly? And are there only a few people?
My grandmother, when I knew I was in trouble, she was mad at me. Kimberly!
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dear.
I don't think anybody I know really calls her Kimberly.
Yeah.
No.
Mine was growing up, it was always first and middle. So I've sort of done that with my son.
Yeah.
Because like my mom was Sean Adam. And then my son, Hunter Gray.
I like my middle name.
She has one friend that calls her Kimmy Wimmy.
Kimmy Wimmy?
Mm-hmm. Kimmy, well, she calls me Wimmy.
Wimmy.
It used to be Kimmy Wimmy. In college,
now it's just down to Wimmy.
They always morph.
See, what happened, and it started in college. This is where I met my best friend in college. And we hung around a group of people. And it was actually Dave that named me Kimmy Wimmy.
Okay.
He was very flamboyant.
Ah,
and
a friend of Dorothy.
When he would talk to me, he'd be all Kimmy Wimmy. And so I was called Kimmy Wimmy. And now my best friend took that and just went with Wimmy because she has a cousin she calls Kimmy.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm Wimmy.
So now you're Wimmy.
Yeah.
You're lucky because, see, I would have taken that and been, because they call her Kimmy Wimmy. I'm going to start calling her Wimmy Whammy, and that's just going to morph to Whammy. So you'd have gone from Kim to Whammy.
And then it goes to Whammo, and now we're talking about the ping pong paddle.
As a nickname, my family would call me, especially my grandmother, Kimbo.
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 I like Kimbo. Kimbo's fun though. The Kimbo's like Kimbo, like you're not. You're calling her over for a shot,
Because I don't call her that, and I never will. And the reason why, because when I hear that name, I think of remember that MMA guy Kimbo Slice.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I don't want that associated with my wife.
As soon as I said it, that's what I thought too. But yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I don't think he's no longer with us, is he?
He's passed. Yeah.
My middle name, they don't use that. I like my middle name.
I'm curious though. I don't say it yet because I think I just is it Dawn?
No.
Okay.
It's in the neighborhood though.
Okay.
She's actually it's named after a soap opera star.
Oh. Okay.
Well, her character
from Days of Our Lives. I'll narrow it down to there. 80s. They're still around.
Yeah.
Too.
And the name is also a word that is not a name.
Bidet?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm out.
Faith, blank, love.
Oh, Hope.
Yeah.
Hope. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh, okay. Kimberly Hope. I like that. My when I was with my kid's mom, when we first got pregnant, the daughter that we lost, we named her after the fact, Hope, because that was how we found out about the RF exception with Carletta and the blood type, and that's how we were able to carry Rhiannon to term. So she gave us that hope, so we named her
That's
Hope.
beautiful.
Yeah, so.
Had a
love
dark
that.
turn there at the beginning.
Well,
though.
It has a beautiful
That's what I'm
meaning.
saying.
that carries
Every
on.
good story's
I was
got to start somewhere.
Let's talk about Funyuns.
Well, the fact that I'm okay talking about it because I've had the two that I've had is sort of the
Sure.
happy ending to the story.
I get it. I get it. But
happy. I didn't mean to bring everything down the first thing in the morning. That was a question that was posed to me, and I'm like, I like my name. There's a lot of fun, famous Seans,
Yeah.
like Michaels or Connery. So it's I like it enough.
Now I don't have kids, but I've always said, as a age in life, I was like, if I have kids, I will never name the child anything that they can't buy in a gift shop.
Yeah.
Like buying a mug or a keychain at a gift shop.
We've sort of cursed Rhiannon with that.
That's always been my
feature.
rule of thumb. Look, if I can easily find it in a gift store on a keychain, then that's a good name.
Mhm.
I don't want to saddle a kid with something they got to explain to
Now,
everybody.
if you can find a vintage copy of a Fleetwood Mac album, that's a great gift for my daughter because it's right there. Like, see, there it is.
Well, and Rhiannon's not. I mean, that one you might see occasionally on
Actually,
a license plate.
it's a lot more common today than it ever was. Thank you to Fleetwood Mac for that. But yeah, so it's less uncommon, but it's still pretty out there.
Yeah.
And credit where it's due. I'm pretty sure that's because her mom's name is Carletta. Like, you want to talk about something you can't find in a gift shop anywhere?
There's not a
They don't
Carletta.
exist. Nope. The only other Carletta I've ever known is actually the sister of someone who works here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Belinda's sister's name is
I'll be
Carletta.
darned.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's two.
Yep.
See, my whole life's been running into the Margaret Peggies.
Oh, yeah.
That's my whole life because my mom was a Margaret Peggy. And then I've told this story before. Literally, we lived in a cul-de-sac in Maryland for a minute. And we lived on this house. And my mom, Margaret Peggy. The lady that lived here, her name was also Margaret Peggy. The lady that lived on this side of the cul-de-sac was also Margaret Peggy.
Oh, my God. You were surrounded by Peggies.
They should have just named it Peggy Lane.
Right.
Steely Dan made a whole song about Mike's childhood.
We live on Peggy Lane.
Peg.
My grandmother, my dad's side, also Margaret.
So a Peggy.
Peggy.
Yeah.
But I remember, I thought I need to double check, but I could swear I've asked Peggy Boland, is her name Margaret? And she looked at me like I was weird. And I'm like, really? Because every other Peggy I know is a Margaret.
Yeah, I'd be curious because unless
I misheard her.
Well, that could be, but also, I mean, if that is what Mom wanted to go for,
sure.
I got to be careful telling the story because I actually ran into the person the other day, but I've known a listener whose child is named Absidy. Absidy, which sounds nice, right?
I guess.
Spelled ABCDE.
Sounds like a dental problem to me.
Right. But it's spelled ABCDE. It's literally just the first.
Absed?
It's just the first 5 letters of the alphabet.
Okay.
That to me feels like a parent was like, I don't know.
That's lazy.
ABCDE.
That's just lazy.
I mean, you're guaranteed to be pretty much at the front of any, of most lines.
Now you're doing moves out of songwriters' books and throwing darts at walls and Aloysius. All right, there it is.
Well, and that's actually funny you say that. I have another friend who started with the letter L because of the baby's father's name is Lawrence.
Yeah.
And worked from there and just started putting letters in front of letters. And that child's name is, or I guess she's a young lady now, Lazarie.
Wow.
Yeah. That's definitely one you're not going to find on a mug at a Klein's Corners.
I'm sorry. For all these parents that are quote unquote being creative, I think you're just saddling your kid with a lifetime of explaining things to people. That's what you're doing.
Well, in fairness,
go to a gift shop, peruse, and say, these names work.
You call her Lazarie one time. For the rest of her life, she will always be Lala. That's what we've always called her. She's like 26 now, and people always know her as Lala. So.
I feel like a name like that, you're supposed to come back and avenge the death of somebody.
It's like when you find out your favorite rapper's real name is like Hortense, or like Thaddeus or something. Mom tried a little too hard.
Now, and this is another one, and then we got to wrap this up and start an interview. But I knew a kid when growing up when we were kids. There was a guy in the neighborhood, and this one I don't know why parents were this mean. They named the kid Damien.
Now, I know a Damien, actually.
I know several, but I don't care what anybody says. When you name your kid Damien, why don't you just name your kid the devil? Because that's like all I think of when I hear that is Damien and the Dark Lord and all this other stuff.
I've known more than a couple of Adolfs who have been born after that fact. And you'd think that name, the connotation therein, would be
a little
rough.
Like,
But there's a member of our own employ who has a son named Damien.
I mean, y'all do you. I'm just saying. That's mean, man. This kid's got to walk around with this the rest of their life. Well, that's what you're giving them.
Yeah, but
you're starting them off with a foot behind them.
At the same time, you could make that same argument. You're going to name your son Jack, like Jack from Shining?
Yeah, but Jack's way more common.
Yeah, I know, but
than Damien. I mean, people don't come up and think of Jack Nicholson, any of the other Jack,
right.
Jack Blacks. You know, when you hit Damien, that already hits a vibe.
Yeah,
I've had several Damiens come through my classes.
And all I'm saying, rethink it.
And
they're just great kids,
their
right? Generally, they're
behaviors
great kids.
kind of are consistent with each other. I'll just say it that way.
The one I knew was a problem.
Yeah.
I think they're doing fine now as adults, but they were problems in their younger days. Let's just say, had a rap sheet.
Okay. I feel the same way, and I'm sure there are some out there that are great people, but I feel the same way about Brandon. I have almost never consistently met a Brandon that I liked.
All right.
I'm sure you're out there. We haven't
If you're
met
Brandon
yet.
and you're a nice guy, come by and say hi to Sean.
Come on, nice Brandon. I'd love to meet, and I'm going to know you for the rest of your life as nice Brandon. So I
Leave
hope
your
you're okay
friend
with that.
Damien at home.
Bring Adolf with you. I have a couple questions for him.
The kid's name is Satan, not Satan.
It's pronounced Satan. That's what the hyphen and the umlaut is for.
Yeah. All right, let me give you the rundown and get her going. Well, we're going to replay an interview this hour. Amy McVeigh-Tejas joined us yesterday talking about Heritage Dinner and everything else from the historical side. We're going to play that for you here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have folks from the Roswell Invaders join us. I'm not sure it'll be some of the players or coaches, but they're all going to join us. I heard they got in wee hours of the morning, so we'll get them in and chit-chat. 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay an interview as well. We had just had a guest cancellation, so we're going to replay our interview with Robert Sherman, talk about the Walker Aviation Museum, which good news is now open after all the flood stuff and everything else. Just opened up on Monday. Before we do any of that, though, here is your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have another low-pressure system developing over the southwestern states. Might bring us some rain by tonight and tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine today. We're headed for the mid-80s. Overnight, scattered showers and thunderstorms, mid-60s on the low. A mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday. Still a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms. It'll be a lot warmer, high around 90. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 60 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 70% with winds out of the northeast at 12 miles per hour. For today, a little cooler, partly cloudy, 84 for a high. Winds will be out of the northeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, we are looking at a good shot at some rain, a 40% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mainly between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 66 degrees, south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, we're looking at a 30% chance at some afternoon scattered showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy and a high of 92, east winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear Thursday night with an overnight low of 65 degrees, south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, we're also looking at a 20% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Sunny and hot, though, otherwise. Highs around 98. That 85 today is looking pretty good now, isn't it? Southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, going to be another scorcher. Looking at sunny skies and hot with a high of 97. Sunday, we are looking at a 20% chance of rain, but sunny and hot otherwise with a high of 97. And then a 30% chance of rain Monday as well with a high of 92. 82 under sunny skies. All right, 7:25. We're going to take a 2.5-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Amy McVeigh-Tejas from the Historical Society on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Hey Roswell, get ready for a sky full of lights. Join us Saturday, June 21st at Cielo Grande Park for a free firework and drone show open to the public. Be there early. Starting at 5 p.m., the first 3,000 people get a free hamburger while supplies last. It's an unforgettable night brought to you by Constructibles and Church on the Move, two proud sponsors celebrating our community. Don't miss the fun, food, and fireworks Saturday, June 21st at Cielo Grande Park.
Our dads shape our world by giving us the courage to dream big. This is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture, and it's time to let Dad know he's the heart of every memory, the wisdom in your moral compass, and the glue that holds your family together. Show him your appreciation with a new recliner from Glenn's. Thank him for every sacrifice and every smile with exceptional quality and comfort that lasts. Come see us for Father's Day on the corner of Union and Alameda in Roswell, where delivery is free since 1953.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
Hey CVE members, have you scheduled your no-cost home energy audit? If not, it's time to sign up. Call 575-746-3571 to get your name on the list for a free home energy audit. Weather stripping, new door sweeps, minor repairs, and much more. Start saving money and keep that purchased air in your home. Central Valley Electric Cooperative is happy to partner with Green Metal Energy for this valuable audit. Again, 575-746-3571.
Every year, thousands of nursing home and assisted living residents face neglect and mistreatment. But as an ombudsman, you can be a voice for those who often go unheard. And we're looking for volunteers. Ombudsmen advocate for residents' rights and ensure quality care. It's an incredibly fulfilling experience. I know because I am one. Whether you're retired or just starting your career, your dedication and compassion will make a significant impact. Learn about volunteering as an ombudsman today at aging.nm.gov/volunteer. Sponsored by this station and the NMBA.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
Studio this morning from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. Amy McVeigh-Tejas back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm actually great. I'm a Texas Longhorn fan, so talking softball, we're in the College World Series.
Yeah.
Ralph's little grandson, the Padres won the city tournament. So shout out to Nick, too.
Yeah.
He's one of the coaches.
Red
one of
Raider
our board
fans,
members.
too, didn't there? Softball team?
Yeah. It's the Texas Lone Star Showdown. So I love sports. It's one our favorite times. Even with the temperatures going up, it's a lot of fun things like ball. And I know y'all go to ball. You're a ball fans. So it's fun time.
You know,
great,
you mentioned
great times.
Because I saw this video clip yesterday, and it was during I think it was the Texas game. Don't quote me on it. I think it was Texas. There was a clip, and this is like a 1 in a million deal, where the pitcher, she wound up and pitched the softball. Well, while she was winding up, her leg kicks up, and I guess some dirt from her cleat goes up in the air. And as she's pitching, the ball hits the dirt, and the dirt shoots into the catcher's eye. And there's literally one of those boom, and you're like, what's going on with the catcher in the eye? And you're like, I don't know, he got some dirt in the eye. And then when they slowed down the video, you could see literally the dirt kick off the cleat of the pitcher. As the softball is going to the pitch, it hits that clump of dirt midair and shoots it into the eye.
They were saying that was one in a million. I think it's actually Tennessee, I think. I've watched so much softball.
Yeah, it could have been Tennessee. It was
think
Tennessee or Texas. It had that light uniform. Like either both have that light
I'm
uniform.
sure
Yeah. It was one of those games. But
Great
that was a
time,
1 in a million shot. I was like, holy
things.
cow.
Amazing
So
things.
anyway, I figured it should since we're talking softball play. I was I couldn't believe that clip.
Since we're talking ball, that's the perfect time to segue in. And Historical Society Invader Night has been scheduled and is confirmed for June the 12th.
Excellent.
I can't believe that is literally next week.
And season's underway right now.
Goodness.
By the way,
that's
next week. I think they're coming on tomorrow, but they are looking for host families
they
still
are
over
needing
there.
Host families.
They need they got several players that are looking for homes for the summer here, and if you'd like to host basically a college-age athlete.
Yes.
And
great kids.
Basically, they every one of them. They,
all for the love of the game. That's for sure.
Yeah, and but like every person I've heard that's done it, like they become like family to them, and then they stay in touch.
So I know they're needing sponsor nights, like if you want, just like our organization, have some fun, take it. But the Historical Society Night, June the 12th, we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll be there with You Challenge. We're going to have a fun night. We'll have Little League World Series men there throwing out the first pitch. One of them, they can toss a coin or figure it out. So Celebrate Histories come out on June the 12th. We have tickets. If you need more information, you can follow them. I know they're active, or call the museum at 622-8333 for more information.
Absolutely. This is a lot of fun. Get out there and go out to see a baseball game. And like I said, if love come out for Historical Society Night. And like I said, they are looking for other sponsorships.
They do.
So if you have civic
support.
groups or businesses that would like to sponsor a night out at the ballpark, please reach out to the Invaders. If you go to the Invaders website, there's a
and
link
if you're listening, wondering what in the world does the Historical Society have to do with baseball? Well, we celebrate history, but that's Joe Bauman Stadium. And if you don't know the name Joe Bauman, ladies and gentlemen, please Google, look it up, because that's the legacy and that's part of history. But our Little League World Series men, we're going to be on the radio again on Friday talking about, they're going to celebrate an anniversary coming up too, and Dewey Johnson's going to enjoy every bit of celebrating those amazing men of 1956.
Absolutely, Dewey, because we had him on the show. He's the author of the book. It's basically really talking about all this stuff.
Dewey Johnson.
But and so he'll join us on Friday, and we'll bring out some of our Little League World Series players, and they can go out there and swap stories and do what they do when they get together.
I always think of it, it's all for the love of the game.
I'm sure they swap a few fish stories.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
That ball that went actually about 200 feet is now going about 600 feet. Yeah, I know.
Oh, my goodness. But it is. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of other things going on. New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy scholarship time is here upon us. And if you're listening and want to support the society, please, please, please. I just had an amazing individual.
Well, with some of the other things going on, we need now more than ever things like Youth Challenge need to support.
Some great kids.
Unfortunately, Job Corps is going away, and
that's right.
And there's going to create voids here. And,
that is right.
And guess who's going to pick those slacks up? It's going to be things like Youth Challenge
and other programs. So the Youth Challenge Academy has helped us immensely on our grounds. So we want to support them. So if you're listening and could give us a $50 gift card or just ways or a scholarship making it possible, I'm telling you, we're impacting lives. And it's a very special, and they're going to come by for a tour. So it's kind of funny. They've worked their tails off outside.
Yeah, they serve
and now
all over
they
the
want,
community.
and I'm like, you know what? Now you're going to come and just have some fun and
come
enjoy
as a tourist.
a tour.
Yeah, come as a tourist.
No work involved.
Yeah,
So
you don't have to.
they're tourists.
You know what? You don't have to sit at the position of attention if you don't. But I don't know. That's up to their guys.
Oh, that's
policy.
right.
They're
No, but they're
cadres,
going to have some fun too.
But and that's just it. The Youth Challenge. I mean, there's probably not a major public event in this town that they're not some way in shape helping out, whether it's something as cleaning up trash to organizing and directing
or preparing.
traffic.
They're going to be part of the air races. We are heavily reliant on those amazing kids, and they help us so much.
They without them, a lot of our community events would have big issues. And stuff.
That's so true. Have a lot of other things coming up. Mike, it's going to be the 4th of July before we know it.
The blink an eye, and here it is. Yeah.
So good old red, white, and blue. So something the Historical Society wants to do is we will 100% support the UFO Festival and all those fun activities.
Absolutely.
But before we get started with that weekend, let's go ahead and celebrate the good old Red, White, and Blue Independence Day. So on July 4th, from 1 to 4 at the Historical Society, we will be having a lot of fun. Chuck Wagon will be there. I don't know how much longer our Chuck Wagon will be around with us, so let's go ahead and celebrate them.
To retire, maybe?
That Chuck Wagon may be retiring. So if you've been saying, I need to get to see that presentation.
July the 4th.
July the 4th. Matt and Stacy Rocha have an amazing stock car, and they love to celebrate the Historical Society, and our big old huge logo is on the front, back, side, and that kind of thing, taking some pictures. We're going to have everything from cornhole outside to face painting to refreshments.
Think of it the picnic in the park kind of atmosphere.
Just kind of a good old celebration. We'll be handing out flags. We'll have refreshments. We just want to celebrate Independence Day.
Only thing we're missing is fireflies to go catch some fireflies.
As long as we get rid of those ants around there, that darn right.
Yeah, we can turn it into ants.
Goodness.
Not so many fire.
Mark your calendars on July 4th. You still have time to do plenty of celebrations and cookouts that evening. 1 to 4th Historical Society be offering tours, doing a lot of fun things. If you need more information about that, you can email me at historydirector@outlook.com or call and leave a message at the museum if I'm not available. Yesterday, Mike, we had people at the front door, back door, archives. We were doing all kinds of fun things. Celebrating a gentleman by the name of Bob French, doing some great work, some great writings, working on some projects. Fun fact about him, it's not every day you have a gentleman come to Roswell, and he stated his father was the original architect for In the Mountain Gods.
Oh,
so
wow.
fun. He was wanting to research, and we were more Fred and I and Richard, we were celebrating him.
Yeah. Like,
But you know, it's just those great opportunities that we have. We're so honored to work with those projects. So look for some more fun projects we're working on.
Very good.
But we have some fun news to announce, and that's kind of why we were here today.
That's the big reveal.
There's never a dull moment at the Historical Society. There's so much going on, but the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico dug deep. And, you know, I think our hearts were heavy when we started voting, and we wanted to really...
It's hard to narrow down.
It's hard to narrow
because there's so many worthy entities and people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And especially with everything that's happened in the last year. You know, we've had some unique historical moments, and sometimes there's time and place for everything. There's time and place to celebrate an individual, but...
And you're always worried that you get one and you're going to miss somebody else. Yeah.
Well, we've got it right. It feels
right.
I think
so.
We know we do.
Until someone tells us we didn't.
And if they tell us we got it wrong, I'm going to say we got it right.
We're going to say no.
Well, and I think how horrible. So on behalf of the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, and Jason Garcia, our president, was unable to be here. I know his heart's with us, and he'll be on again to talk about things. We have an amazing board. We all have servants' hearts. We're all hard workers. So on behalf of the Historical Society, the 2025 Heritage Dinner recipients will be as follows, with the title of Beacons of Hope. And we've celebrated being beacons of light through the lights in the trees.
Absolutely.
To lifting up kids.
Yeah.
And doing great things. We're still going to do all of that. But Beacons of Hope. So we are thrilled to celebrate the 4 organizations as follows. And I think if they are not Beacons of Hope, I don't know what is. That's for sure. So we will be celebrating the Community Kitchen, Harvest Ministries, the Assurance Home, and last but not least, the Poor Clare's Monastery, the Lady of Guadalupe.
Yeah.
So all we can agree are so unique, celebrating the youth through Assurance
Home. They
Home.
all help people that are usually in situations where they really are in dire straits. And every one of these organizations come to the aid of these folks without question, without help. And most of these organizations have been doing it for a long time.
That's exactly right.
And quite frankly, like the flooding, the disasters we've experienced in the last year, to just garden variety homelessness and the other issues we deal with, these 4 organizations tackle that on the daily basis in some way, shape, or form.
And we've also continued to use the word after the passing of Mary Lou Glass, silent servants. And I believe all of these, beyond measure, qualify under that category too.
Absolutely.
Silent service, especially with the Poor Clares. I think, Mike, they had just celebrated their 75th anniversary in Roswell a couple of years ago, actually in 2023.
Yeah.
We're working on some booklets of their history, just telling the story of those little angels that are just
the
praying.
prayers. You need prayers. It's like literally like, hey, you got a thing, hit them on their prayer hotline, and they'll got you covered. You know what I mean?
Yes, and we've even had guests traveling through asking, you have a monastery? Yes,
we sure do.
We do.
We Sure do.
And they are, their doors aren't open, if you will, but they are. You know, they're willing to serve and take a donation. They have admin things and stuff. So part of our amazing group was just at the community kitchen the other day. And, you know, I'm the first to say, when we were serving, we had some unique circumstances that resulted in us kind of reacting and being safe. But you know what? That was Fred Boggs. Shout out to Fred Boggs. That was Fred Boggs' first time to be there. And you know what? We said shout out to them for what they do.
They weren't serving ice cream that day, were they?
They weren't. But he took a plate.
I'm about to say, I don't think all the ice cream got out of Fred's there.
If you don't know what Nacho Day is at the community kitchen, you're missing out. And that's a perk. Let me tell you something. Homemade guacamole and everything.
Right.
That's a perk to serve on Nacho Day.
Yeah,
because,
sounds like it.
I mean,
is that like Pizza Friday when you're in school?
Homemade chips and everything. We're like, what in the world? They're back there making.
Like, they're better than I am.
So there are those. But, you know, at the end of the day, we can never say thank you enough to all these organizations. Harvest Ministries, I was just over there. Shout out to Pastor. He does such great things. I think we're going to take a tour. You know, these are things all my life, or many of these, have been working.
If you don't know, they're the Roadrunner Food Bank of Roswell, basically.
I mean, they are. Let me tell you about what I learned about Harvest Ministries. When you go to visit, well, first of all, make an appointment first.
Yeah.
Because they're doing too many great things, and you better get out of the way.
It's
because
busy.
they are a well-oiled engine, and they're doing great things. So I think one thing that our community might be guilty of is saying, oh, yeah, we know all the great works.
Sure.
But we may have not been involved in one way or another.
Well, we take it for granted.
Exactly.
They've been silently, quietly doing this for years.
Yes.
And it's been working, so we never question it.
You know what I mean? Well-oiled engines.
But the moment these organizations shutter their doors, you're going to notice very quickly.
You better believe it. So I think one thing that the Historical Society wanted to do is take a moment to celebrate and support what they do, but never take these organizations for granted. And if you do nothing but call and leave a voicemail, like I did, what can we do? What can we help? Next time you go to Sam's, pick something up. Take them over the summer to volunteer, get a tour.
I know,
help these organizations.
I know for a fact Harvest Ministries is looking for more volunteers.
Right.
To be honest, they have had such a great, steady stable of volunteers that have been with them for 20-plus years.
Yes.
But here's the rub. They've been with them for 20-plus years. They're ready to retire. They're ready to settle down and do their things. They can't devote the time to the place they used to.
Yes.
So we need fresh faces, young,
That's exactly
the next generation to come in there and be those 20-year volunteers.
That's
and
exactly
things like
right.
that.
And I think nothing would be a greater tribute to their hard work, to them kind of handing the baton off but leading us through. Kind of reminds me of the Historical Society.
Absolutely.
I think all organizations are needing help, needing support. Even like the Poor Clares, if you left a message, I think it's as simple with them as fresh fruit and different things.
Yeah. And I'll even throw one out. Maybe the food thing's not your thing. Okay. I just had Walker Aviation Museum on this morning. They're back open again. They're only open like an hour and a half a day. You know why? It's because they don't have enough volunteers to be open more than that. If that's your thing, pick that and do that.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, find your passion and go do it. Go volunteer.
I think it'd be a great idea for those individuals that have children over the summer, if you're an educator, is go try all the little different locations. That's what I like about Grace Community Church, our church. We kind of try a little bit of everything. Get your hands in Walker Aviation. I'm going to tell you one thing. I think it would be fun and never a dull moment if you just kind of hung in that rotation and got a feel and gave a little moment to all these areas.
Absolutely.
If nothing else, we're seeing it for ourselves. We're technically all tour guides because when we go on our vacations and they ask about Roswell, the more you know about all of these organizations and places, it's a better opportunity.
And quite frankly,
to help
we're going to have more opportunities to be ambassadors here.
There,
now with the air
you
races.
better believe it. Yes,
I mean,
there is.
You have UFO Festival that we bring in tons of people.
Yep.
And we serve as ambassadors for. Now we got that times 2 in September now.
Yeah.
So the onus is you to know this community, be around this community. When they come to this community and support us, when they bring their thousands of dollars, you want to make sure that that they're happy with that. You tell them the things you love.
That's exactly. And I want to give a shout out to the Galacticon. I know they're excited and pushing some information out. Shout out to Elaine and her amazing crew. It's not just about one individual. She's but doing a lot of things. I know we'll have a booth at the Galacticon, John LeMay, and we may have a
which will be downtown
visitor.
this year because of the convention centers
right
not
across
available.
From the office. So log on to Galacticon or get more information about that. A lot
of
fun things
and
coming
Elaine's
up.
going to be in to promote.
That's awesome.
But it's all encompassing one big thing this year. Yes. And I know is it UFOfestival.com? I always mess it up. It's
We were Googling it yesterday. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But it'll come up if you put in 2025, and then it's starting to pop up.
And that is, it's all one-stop show. Everything Galacticon, everything that the museum's doing, everything that the city's doing, Main Street's doing, it's all in one location.
Well, and I know Elaine called me yesterday from the Roswell Daily Record, so it's just a great, again, partnership.
Yeah. Yeah,
so we'll be
exactly.
getting the word out. Just want to remind everybody, I can't believe where the time goes tomorrow. See you at the poll. 9 o'clock in the morning.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday we'll be at the poll. I do want to take a moment to congratulate all of our graduates. We took our picture with Troy Hayes. We've done some great things. Shout out to Landmark Signs. I'm telling you what, these kids just felt so amazing to know that they were honored and celebrated on the billboard. So great things happening.
Yeah.
And just
we had fun having them in
congratulations all
studio, most of them, all but one, I
yes,
think. And
yes.
they did great.
Yes. And if you need to know more about Victor Barbosa, that was not interviewed, and if you log on to social media through New Mexico Military Institute, he did an amazing promotional video, kind of a little bit about his testimony.
Nice.
So I love to celebrate all these kids.
He's got big plans.
He does.
He's already started them.
It hasn't been an easy road for him. So he's a testament of never giving up. Anything's possible.
And you
living
can
the dream,
tell every
living
one
the
of these kids that we got, I say kids, young adults that we got to speak with on that week, and I'm sure he's the exact same way.
Yes.
They're all driven. They got their passion and find, and at the end of the day, that's all we want with kids is find the thing that's your thing and then get behind it and do it.
Yes.
And that's what every one of these kids have done, and that's what they're doing, and that's life. That's what you want. And whether it's academics, whether it's art, whether it's sports, whatever that gravitates to, put their whole heart into it and let's do it. And that's what these kids have done, and that's that's why they're seeing the fruits of their labor.
That's exactly
it's because
right.
they're fully committing and fully dedicating to this. And when others see that, then they want to support that and help.
That's right.
And that's what we're doing.
You just said fruits of labor, which reminded me on behalf of the Heritage Dinner. We have our legacy volunteer of the year award is Marianne Schrank. There has been many, many, many years Marianne Schrank has given back to us. So I'm given a moment to celebrate and speak of the fruits and heart of labor. Marianne Schrank, she is our legacy volunteer of the year, and that will be part of the Heritage Dinner.
Nice.
If you want to know more information about the Heritage Dinner, and Mike, there is important information like the date.
Yeah, but so we got to do the actual
because we're going to
who,
mark
what, where, wins of all this.
Go.
Yeah.
So we're going to get our promotional information out. The Heritage Dinner will be on August the 26th. As tradition, it's always been on Tuesday or Thursday, so we don't want to mess up the weekends.
That's right.
So,
well, and it's football season right around that time,
right.
so Friday's off the table.
You better, yes, that's right. So August the 26th will be the 2025 Heritage Dinner. Beacon of Hope. Log on to RoswellMHistory.org. Give us a week or two. We'll have the save the date. We'll have reservations made. A couple of things. So if you say, well, Amy, how can we be involved? So let's get to the meat of it. So how you can be involved is you can purchase a box for two like we have. It's going to be a fun drive-through event. And I'm telling you, if you think, that drive-through thing's not much for me. Guys, let's take a moment. Let's talk about something. So in one night, in a drive-through, we're going to celebrate these beacons of hope. They're going to have their tables, and we're going to have an opportunity to help every one of those organizations by driving through. And then these organizations are each going to have their own celebrations, celebrating what they do with their peoples.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you think that's not a win, it is a win-win-win-win.
Well, and it's all about awareness. It's all like at the end of the day, these are 4 legacy tentpole organizations. But I guarantee there's whole sections of this population that have never heard of, say, the Assurance Home or the monastery.
That's
or even
exactly
Harvest
right.
Ministries for that.
That's right.
You
So
know?
part of that is going to be if you buy a ticket for 2, like you guys have, and Mike eats most of the food in this little one. I know how this works out.
Only if there's shrimp. I get the shrimp.
I know how this goes. Hey, maybe we need
She
to
gets
have,
all the fruit.
Hey, Peppers, if you're listening, can we get extra for Mike, for the missus? No, food is amazing. We haven't even talked about food. Working on, listen.
Well, it's Peppers food. It's always
Peppers.
good. Yeah.
It's Peppers. It's Peppers. It's Peppers.
I should change it to Peppers.
We're going to have a list of things. So in advance, we're going to be a collective of all the ways you can help every one of these organizations. Because I told Jason, get your trailer ready. We're going to fill up a trailer of blessings.
Absolutely.
And if you buy a ticket, you're going to be a bag of blessings. We'll have a lot of information about these organizations.
And I can tell you right now, particularly like Harvest Ministries, and I'm sure the others are very similar, the summer months are the dry periods for
Yes.
these organizations.
You're so right.
Schools are the biggest
Yes.
resource when it comes to giving blood
That's
and giving
exactly
food. And when the kids go home for the summer, those resources dry up. Hence I know for Harvest Ministries, that's why the Postal Service has that big food drive
That's
here in May
exactly-
every year,
yes.
because that hopefully will kind of offset some of the summer
That's
stuff.
exactly
And so,
right.
so I'm telling you right now, Harvest Ministries, and I'm sure the Community Kitchen, I'm sure all four of the
And
same
Portland
boat,
Schmaltz.
are really the donations dry up this time of year. So
Well,
if
you're
you can help
exactly-
them out, this is a great time
Pastor
to get
Green
involved.
said that exactly when we're
Mhm.
collecting in August. He said that's really a good time. We have a
Yeah.
great need. So we're going to get lists. We're going to have. It used to be tradition for the Poor Clares to have a little shower.
Yeah.
And the shower would be collecting items they need. We're going to have lists of the ways you can help all these organizations. We're taking a moment. It's not about us, if
Mhm.
you will. It's about all of us together. We're going to take a
Absolutely.
moment. So we will get our shopping list together. If you have any information or you say, well, why wait until the lists come out? Help now. Call us. We'll connect you. I
Absolutely.
know Pastor Green would be willing.
Yeah.
Community Kitchen.
That kind of work does
Assurance
not have to
Home.
wait till us.
No.
Right today, get out there
there
and
would
reach
be no
out.
greater
Yeah.
way for you to volunteer to serve and see the needs.
And I'm going to take a
work
stab.
with
They
us
could
on
probably
it.
use some other things too.
Oh, for sure.
Waters and cooling
Yes,
things and
all
stuff
kinds
like
of
that.
different
All the
things.
things to get through summer.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
they could
exactly
definitely
right.
use
So
that,
any
yeah.
way we can partner on this, we're all in. Don't forget, we are doing tours 7 days a week. Mike,
By appointment?
Mike, you know what?
What do we
It's
want to?
kind of heavy in the morning lately. I guess everybody maybe they take a nap in the afternoon.
Well, it is
We've been
warmer in the
heavy in the
afternoon. It's like, well, it's cooler. And
We've been really
and let's face
busy
it,
in the morning.
this is the J.P. White House, built turn of the century. It's not updated with the modern conveniences of
But you know what,
cooling.
Mike? It's nice and cool in there. That building is so.
But it's probably
morning,
better in the
noon,
morning than
evening,
the
weekends.
afternoon.
That's exactly right. So nice tour. Remember to renew your memberships. Call the museum 622-8333. My email address is historydirector@outlook.com.
Absolutely. And I also want to remind you, Father's Day is right around the corner here.
Yeah.
The Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, thanks to some authors and artists and very people that partner with us, we have some great, what I would consider fine Father's Day gifts. Peter Hurd prints, author books from up and down the Pecos Valley about history to even other things, military to other personal histories and everything.
We were talking
got
about Ash Epson yesterday.
Yeah.
You never know; it might be an Ash Epson day. But we have so many books. You're exactly right. If you don't follow Donna and Sean and other authors, we've got some new amazing books coming out.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, those
one
guys
more.
crank out books.
I can't keep up.
I got to be honest. Every time I see them, it's like, yeah, we got a new book. It's like, didn't you just have a new book? Now you got another new book?
I can't keep up.
Y'all need to let these marinate a bit.
I need to have this ongoing order place.
Yeah,
But,
well-
you know, it's not just about a couple of, even with
I think it's
Dewey,
ideas, and
it
they're authors and
is.
historians.
They're growing
and I'm sure they got
evolving
about
and
37
celebrating
subjects. They're like, I
Yes.
want to get to this one and then to this one, and so it's that labor of love. And you know, Donna's kind of the one that likes to get dirty a little bit and get
That's
into these
true.
locations. John too, but I don't see John digging in caves
Well,
as much
you
as
know,
Donna
Jason's
does.
along with them getting dirty too. You know,
Yeah.
Hey, whether we celebrate history through getting a little dirty,
Yeah.
or just in your room reading the books, any way
Absolutely.
we can celebrate history. Got some kid projects working on the summer tours with groups, homeschool groups. So if you
And-
have an organization or a group, we will be happy to schedule a group tour for
Absolutely.
organization,
By the way,
students, and
don't
those
forget our
kinds of
archives
things.
facility is also available for rentals and things. If you got a group that it actually holds about 75 people,
That's right.
according to the fire marshal, and it's got a home grade kitchen
That's
available. So if you need to heat up food and things,
That
but that's
rental's
available
minimal.
for rental.
All we need is an additional little insurance policy. We'll get everything
And every time you
covered.
do that, you're helping out the Historical Society. And then I know this is not the time of year, but always becoming a member of the Historical Society
It's
is a great
always
way
time.
to do. I know we
No,
try to
I'm
push that
just
at the
kidding.
beginning of the year, but
Well, you're right.
But
But
if
it's
you
ongoing.
want to gift that to Dad for Father's
Oh,
Day,
that's for
a great
sure.
idea.
Good for
You can
gifts.
do couples, individuals. You can do it as an organization. You can. There's lots of different levels and ways.
And
to
just
sponsor.
don't stop. As we're cleaning over the summer, right? I was cleaning over the weekend. Keep your loose change together and bring it to us, or we'll pick it up. I know.
Bring
there's
it with you on
drop-offs,
on
too.
August for the Heritage Dinner. We'll
Yes, that's
collect it
true.
there then too.
Yep,
But
we're
of
always
course,
collecting change.
that's if you got it now, we'll take it now. But if you get a new pile by the
I was
time August
thinking we
hits,
could fill up some vehicles if they're driving through, helping Harvest Ministries, Community Kitchen, sure. So
I know it's too lucrative, but I'll say we need to get one of these car wash places with the vacuum. Like, hey, can you just like give us whatever? Well, problem is, they're like, are you kidding? That'll pay for that's a month of payments right there. I get so much money out of this.
Well,
thing.
we're gonna get some big tubs to start collecting in advance, and if you need to know more, because I know we need to be specific and help them with their needs and not just assuming things. So call us. We'll connect.
We were talking about volunteering at the Historical Society, too. They're always looking for folks, John, with the archive stuff, or docents, volunteers to be docents.
Or helping Fred outside.
Or helping Fred with, if you love, we got a lot of landscaping and stuff that always needs help, too, if you like that.
There's always something.
If people keep, all right, you've put enough flowers in your yard, come on over.
There you go.
We have the garden clubs that help out and stuff,
they
too.
Sure do.
But there is a lot of
watering
day-to-day
plants
maintenance of a house that, in between the garden clubs and everything else that needs to be done.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Again, RoswellNMHistory.org is our website. Yep. You can find everything there, including those books and stuff we're talking about for Father's Day. You'll also find all of our Heritage Dinner information and stuff there as it starts getting posted up there. And of course, if you want to schedule an appointment anytime,
for sure,
just give us a call or you can shoot her an email, historydirector@outlook.com. That's another way, or call or come by.
And we deliver. We'll even deliver. We wrapped a book the other day. We can deliver.
Absolutely.
Hey, Miss Robin, amazing Miss Robin, a volunteer. She's willing to deliver, do all kinds of fun things. She has a lot of fun. She likes to get out and do things. So we'll be happy to come.
We're
to
that conduit for everything. That's what the history thing is. Because people are, why you do this? Why you do this? Is why, because it's all history. It's all part of this.
Well, it's
this
fun.
Is us.
We'd love to have fun.
History is just a very broad term, and you just don't realize how broad it is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we're continuing to expand. But June 12th, that's the next event. Come out to Invaders, support them.
Yes. Come out for Invader Night. Go to Invaders. I think it's invaders.com. You can go there or just Google that.
Yeah.
You can see the schedule, see all their stuff, season tickets, learn more. If you want to get swag, Invader swag, all of that's there too.
Some sharp looks. Yep.
Good deal. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank
always.
you.
We'll see
we appreciate
you here
it.
next time, and we look forward to celebrating all these great individuals and organizations.
We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be good stuff.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. All right, it is 9:56. Let's pause for news and your Hannity up.
With your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. A list published this week by the federal government claims Eddy County is harboring illegal immigrants. The list was published by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, identifying hundreds of counties and cities across the nation as so-called sanctuary jurisdictions. Eddy County is on the list, as is Chavez, Otero, and Lincoln counties, and the cities of Santa Fe and Albuquerque. Eddy County Sheriff Matt Hutchinson is publicly decrying the list, which actually was removed from the Department of Homeland Security website on Monday. The sheriff, Hutchinson, says the list is full of, quote, inaccurate information. He claims Eddy County is not a sanctuary for criminals and that he will always uphold his oath to defend the U.S. Constitution without discrimination. Artesia General Hospital is now serving as a provider for continuing medical education for healthcare professionals. AGH received accreditation for the NMMS programming that will run through May of 2027. The Daily Press reports the designation enables the hospital to offer locally accredited educational activities for physicians, nurses, technicians, and allied health professionals, further supporting clinical excellence and professional development in southeast New Mexico. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Running a business is tough. Operational demands change fast, and keeping up can feel impossible. That's where DSI comes in. We've been helping local businesses thrive for over 25 years. You might know us for printer products, but we're your one-stop shop for cutting-edge office technology. From managed IT to video security, audio-visual technology, and more, DSI has everything you need. We're flexible, local, and have the resources of a national corporation. Be more productive. Make more money. DSI, the heartbeat of business. Visit DSINM.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Well, like we say, it's the sports summer season doesn't really start until you have the Milkman Triathlon in Dexter. This is a triathlon that if you're in a reasonable shape, you've been out running and biking, you might be able to do this if you've never done one before. It is on Saturday in Dexter. It begins with a swim in Lake Van. That's a 5K, actually a half K swim. And then you move on to the bicycling, which goes out to Bottomless Lake State Park. That's a 20K bicycle ride. And then it finishes with a 5K run through the Southwestern Native Resources and Recovery Center. Chocolate milk and ice cream await at the end. You can sign up at milkmantriathlon.com or trysignup.com. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
The family of the Egyptian national accused of a fiery anti-Semitic attack in Boulder, Colorado, has been detained by immigration authorities. Mohammed Salman's wife and 5 children could be deported. Tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from most countries have doubled to 50%. President Trump says the U.S. has allowed itself to be ripped off by its trading partners for far too long. The president says the U.S. economy is booming, and there is a growing body of evidence to back that claim. Instead of 3.8% now, the Fed estimates the economy grew at 4.2% in the most recent quarter. A pleasant surprise, according to Heritage Foundation economist Stephen Moore.
It's like a cannonball out of a cannon. I was shocked by it. People are spending again. Businesses are investing again.
Moore speaking with the Salem Radio Network. Former Doge chief Elon Musk has come out against the president's budget and tax cut bill. It's now being debated by the Senate. Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
We obviously respect everything that Elon did with Doge. On this particular issue, we have a difference of opinion. And I think it's rooted in the fact that he's accepting the CBO assumptions that are built upon a static scoring assessment of the effect, the macroeconomic effect, growth effect, that these changes will have on our economy.
Iran's supreme leader is rejecting President Trump's demand that Tehran halt uranium enrichment, part of a deal with the U.S. to lift economic sanctions on the Islamic Republic. Parts of the country's midsection, including portions of Missouri, have been pummeled by fierce storms. The storms bringing destructive winds along with flash flooding. Watching Wall Street, stocks modestly higher. The Dow is up about 32 points, while the Nasdaq is ahead 33, and the S&P better by 9 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
South Korea's new president, Lee Jae-myung, says he'll pursue dialogue with North Korea while bolstering a trilateral partnership with the U.S. and Japan. Correspondent Forrest Klug says Lee is facing a big challenge trying to unite his people.
Lee is now leader of a divided country. Conservatives fear he will distance South Korea from traditional ally Washington and pursue hasty reconciliation with rival North Korea. An urgent task is the establishment of ties with Donald Trump, who has threatened South Korea with deep tariffs. Lee's party controls parliament, and so he will presumably pursue a raft of liberal policies. Many here are hoping the peaceful, orderly election is a sign of health for South Korea's democracy.
Ukraine's Western backers have gathered to drum up more weapons and ammo for the country's efforts to repel Russia. However, the Pentagon chief will be absent for the first time since the group organizing military aid for Ukraine was set up several years ago. News and analysis, townhall.com. America was still hiring a couple of months ago.
The Labor Department reports that employers posted 7.4 million job vacancies in April, up from 7.2 million in March. Economists had expected openings to drift down to 7.1 million. But the number of Americans quitting their jobs, a sign of confidence in their prospects, fell, and layoffs ticked higher. Openings remain high by historical standards, but have dropped sharply since peaking at 12.1 million in March 2022, when the economy was recovering from COVID-19 lockdowns. John Scott reporting.
A man who identifies himself as a New Orleans jail escapee has released videos on social media while still on the run from authorities. A senior law enforcement official says they are convinced the videos are the real deal. They searched a house where they believe they were made, but no sign of the fugitive. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce
of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Ah, yes, the halfwayest of days.
I made it to the middle.
Mm-hmm. This week's going to feel a little longer for you, I think, because last week was just so zipped by.
It's true, it's full 5 days.
Technically, this is your Monday last week.
That's right. Yeah.
And you got the build up to your vacation week, so obviously that makes time drag on a little longer.
Yeah, it is kind of, I got to, because I got this, and then I'll be on vacay for a week next week.
I know how much you love the word vacay. Now I've been trying to fit this in for the last couple of days, but I never want to shoehorn anything in where it doesn't
shoo
fit.
Away.
I feel like I need to deliver a public service announcement to people.
Okay.
I understand. We're all very busy people. We've got places that we've got to be. But you know those fancy, kind of reflective, shiny things that stand on the outside of each side of your car and then one right in the middle of your windshield? And sometimes some of you newfangled fancy things, you have these little cameras in the back of your car that can actually show you what is behind you. These are amazing tools that have been given to us by the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration or whoever, and I feel like they're being underutilized in this society.
I would probably tend to agree with this.
Day before yesterday.
What happened to you?
I don't know what happened, but I was picking my son up from Camp Invention.
Okay.
It was our packed parking lot. Everybody was kind of trying to get out and get their way out. So this car decides they're going to back out, and that's fine. They keep backing out and keep backing out, and they continue to keep. I'm like, hold on. Let me put my car in reverse, inconveniencing myself, making sure there's nobody behind me.
Right.
Because I looked, and I had to back up like 15 feet to get away from not being, hit.
Did you land on the horn?
Yeah, well, eventually.
Yeah.
I was also in a parking lot, where there's a bunch of kids. And I wasn't trying to scare anybody.
Right.
Cut to, I dropped Hunter off at Mom's house. I was going back, heading towards my home. A semi-truck was attempting to turn off of 2nd Street onto Atkinson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I understand semi trucks. They have it's a wide turn radius that they need. So I'm in the lane here. There's a truck in front of me. The truck, to give the semi driver a wide berth to get through, just starts backing up. I mean, backing, like not even giving me a chance to put my car in reverse. I swear I was within 3 inches of getting just slammed. So it happened twice in a row. So people, I understand. We're busy people. Please use your rear view mirrors. Use your backup cameras. If there's somebody behind you, give them a second to get out of the way so as to not create chaos.
Also remember, you have to yield to oncoming traffic. And you just can't pull out in places without yielding.
I mean, my gracious.
You need to put a big old flag on your car, though. You got the little car. I don't think they see you.
BS. You can't tell me you don't see Fire Engine Annie coming down the road. That thing is the brightest, reddest thing on the planet. You see me. I'm not a phantom.
We have the world's dumbest drivers, and they are listening right now.
How you doing, everybody?
They are listening right now.
Mm-hmm. And none of them are going to admit that it's them.
Yeah, oh, no.
Right, of course.
Well, I can tell you, I spend, because I come to work, I live right by near the hospital. Mm-hmm. So the stretch of Main Street between downtown and Country Club, right. I'm up and down that stretch quite often. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, every single day, coming to work, coming home from work, just on it and for general purposes, whatever, I find a medium to major driving grievance every single time.
So
I will just this is last night.
Okay.
As I had a meeting here, and I went home last night, and this was, I don't know, 7-ish. I was driving back to my house. I'm on Main Street. I'm in the left lane. As I drive in said left lane, one of our fellow Waterhead citizens driving his.
Well, we can only assume.
No, this person's clearly a Waterhead. They make poor choices.
Okay, fair enough. We're bringing it back.
Decided was in the right lane, goes to pass me, proceeds to get in the left lane, only to drive approximately 50 feet to go completely across both lanes to turn right into to turn on another road.
Wow.
They went out of their way to cut me off just to turn the opposite direction.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I've had that feeling quite a few times. Like, sorry, I just needed to get over here. Well, you could have let me pass you and then gotten behind me, and you could have done what you needed to do.
And then a little bit later, I proceed to drive. Is our guest here?
No, it's my son.
Oh. About to go off to camp?
He's just poking his head. Yeah, we're going to take him to camp and bench in a second.
So I'm, again, going down the left lane. I'm literally, there's no cars behind me. Nobody. It's Ghost Town City.
Sure.
But Stu McDumb Jerry's kid.
Close. We almost had to hit the button.
Pulled out to go left, and literally pulled out right in front of me. Right. And I was like, you couldn't wait 13 more seconds or 5 more seconds for me to go by where there's no one within sight of me.
Right.
You had to cut me off, and there's nobody blaring the other way either. They chose to pull out in front of me.
They could, yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's like, but the thing, they're going to justify it by, well, I'm going to get to speed. No, you're not.
You're not going 15 to get to feet speed. You pulled out in front of me.
Right.
So yes, to be honest, y'all are lucky I don't have powers because none of y'all be driving.
Now,
the transit system be the most popular system here because none of y'all have a license if I'm in charge.
This is something I've observed about you as well.
This is my pet peeve.
This is something I've observed about you specifically.
Okay.
You really don't like taking back roads.
I don't mind it sometimes.
Well, I've noticed that for the most part, you stay on Main. Like going to and from work, you stay on Main.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the time when I leave, I'm usually hitting, Richardson going as far as that. That'll take me college usually and going from there. you would do yourself a lot of favors by just taking the side streets to work.
Sometimes.
It is so much more peace, especially in the morning. First thing in the morning, there's nobody out but city workers and some cops. And generally they know that you're going to work, so they'll leave you alone for the most part.
Sometimes I go that way, and then it's like, all right, I got to stop every block. This is annoying.
Sure. That's why you take, the ones that are like the smooth all the way through. Like Lee. Lee's a good street to pretty much get a smooth sail with just a few stops.
Yeah.
And then it's nice.
But then also, too, like there's a 30% chance I got to stop at one of these places on Main Street to pick up something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's generally why I go that way. All right, well, I'll pick something up at Walgreens on the way or whatever on the way.
That's fair. Yeah, if you've got places to be on Main, then by all means. But it's just, I noticed that, and I mean this with all due respect, the concentration of stupid tends to happen mostly on the main road.
Oh, it's
on the
a
drag.
bevy of dumbness. The part that gets me is people think that they're supposed to yield. People that are trying to merge on the traffic think that they're the ones that don't have to yield.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, where did this ideology come?
Right.
If you're on the highway, you have the right of way. People getting on the highway have to yield to the people on the highway already. This is what Waterhead is teaching people to do otherwise.
Fair. However, I do have to play devil's avocado here in that in defensive driving courses, and trust me, I've taken more than my fair share. My dad used to instruct them, so I was his test dummy.
His test dummy.
In defensive driving courses, what they teach you is when you're on a highway, if you're on a freeway and there's an on-ramp and you have a clear lane, then you should get over to allow the oncoming.
That's courtesy.
Yeah,
yes. But that's not what we're dealing with on Main Street. We're
Oh,
dealing
no,
with
no,
dummies.
No.
Don't get me on highway driving, because that's another set of you people
Right.
don't know what's wrong.
Mhm.
It's like the left lane is not your cruising lane. That's the passing lane. When you're on the interstate, you're on those things, and you're just diddy bopping up the left lane, you're a problem.
Yeah.
And conversely, what you said, yes, if there's an exit ramp and you see people trying to merge on and you have the ability to get over, you should, because that's what human beings with consciences do.
Oh, God forbid. Yeah, exactly. That's what should happen. But yeah, here locally, no, I agree. It's everybody's in such a hurry to be in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
And I get it. I don't want to be stuck behind slow drivers as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
Still, you don't have to always be in front. Yeah.
And I will say this. Speed limit is 35 for most of it. I get downtown, it gets 25. I think as you get farther north, it bumps up to 40 or something. Yeah. But, for that middle part, it's mostly 35. I'm okay with you doing 40 because I do it myself.
Sure.
You better not be in the left lane doing 27 because I'm going to smack you in the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's.
If you're going to be doing 27, book it over to the right lane or take the bus. If you can't handle 35, you don't have no business driving.
I'm real glad for you that you don't have anywhere you have to be right now. But I'm like low budget. I'm like Timu Sammy Hagar. I can't drive 27. Okay?
Yeah. And I hate that every time that I'll get out there and then there's someone that is probably shorter than the steering wheel. And they're out there and they can't see, and their eyes are literally putting their nose on the windshield because they can't see. You have no business being on the road.
This is the one that got me the other day. So I'm driving up 19th, and it was a red light with a green arrow. So my turn lane was able to turn, but I was waiting. It got to the yellow, the tail, like the last milliseconds of yellow arrow right before we're about to turn green. This white SUV comes speeding up the turn lane and whips it around to make sure that he's in front of the traffic that's about to be released with the light, and proceeds to go 10 miles under the speed limit the entire way up 19th. I was incensed. At one point, I stopped so that I would have some lead time to actually go the speed limit. It was infuriating. And I don't know, there's nothing you can do in that situation because you're not going to try to pass on 19th. It's just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating. I will definitely give you that one. Oof.
Yeah, you just opened a can of worms.
It felt good to get that one off too.
It's cathartic.
That was.
It's just, folks, come on. Use a modicum of it's to this point where driving is a privilege. People forget that,
right.
And if you aren't capable of doing it, then you shouldn't do it.
I agree.
You know, there's people. You know, I'm just saying we got to be stricter on these licenses, man. Make these tests harder. Make them actually, I don't know, something, because there's too many people that are licensed to drive that have no business being licensed to drive.
It's the test was made too easy.
These people can't handle a simple task at home. We're going to put them behind the wheel of a $30,000 vehicle and let them go 70 miles an hour down places? No.
Hey. Mine was only 24.8, okay?
Okay, whatever it is. We're not putting them in a hunk of plastic and metal and say, go tear off down the highway at 80 miles an hour and terrorize public.
Here's this weapon. Have fun, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing.
That's what we do. It's so...
Anyway. I'll go ahead with the argument, though. The cars don't kill people. Waterheads do. Waterheads behind the wheel do.
Yeah, you hit my button.
That just, oh my gosh, that infuriated. It was like the fact that it happened twice within a span of 3 hours. I'm like, yo, I know you got to get out of the way or you're trying to get to a place, but I'm right here.
Yeah.
It's not hard to see me.
Yep. People are simple.
I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version after we get off air.
We were just talking about.
It was basically twice in the span of about 3 hours. I got backed into almost twice because one was trying to get out of a lane or a parking spot and just didn't see me and just was like, oh, I'm going to keep going. I guess she saw me, but it was like, he's going to get out of my way. And I did for the sake of my car. And the other thing with my head is if this is a rear end accident, I'm going to be at fault, right? Because in all rear end accidents.
Not in that sense.
Yeah, let's see how hard they investigate. But then another one happened just a few hours, an hour and a half later with a situation with a semi-truck and a truck. It was not a fun couple hours.
And these vehicles have backup cameras.
I would
There's
think.
no excuse for that.
What they have is these reflective, pretty things on their windshields and on each side of their car that show you what's behind you.
We drove vehicles for a long time before cameras existed.
Oh, I know.
People turned around and looked. People used mirrors.
I think now vehicles have to have backup cameras.
Yeah, by law,
so
I think they
no
put them in.
excuse for
after a
them
certain
to
year.
about run you over.
Right.
Backing up.
Matter of fact, that's the only reason my vehicle has a backup camera is because it's legally required to.
You know what? This
is
is a
only
weird
amenity they're going to give me.
This when you talk about the backup cameras and now that after a certain year that they gotta. This is a weird thing that's stuck in my brain because I grew up in this time and I don't know why this factoid remains in my head to this day, but it's of this. The year 1986 was the year that they mandated that you put the brake light in the rear view in the back window.
Right.
But prior to that was any vehicles 85 or older did not have to have those. But once 86 models started, you had to have the light in the back window of the brake there.
Didn't
and so
realize
to this
that.
day, and I just remember the news and everyone. Well, now they're gonna. I grew up in that time, and so that piece of why I don't know, but it's stuck in my head to this day. And so every time I hear a car thing, it's like, did you know?
And it's always funny because there's a group of people that were like, this is ludicrous. The fact that they're making us put an extra light, they're taking away our freedom. It's like, no, that's just a little extra safety.
Yeah.
The same people that get upset that we have shoulder strap seatbelts now. We're saving lives out here, people.
Yeah, I grew up in a time where we didn't even wear the seatbelts.
Exactly.
I was a teenage boy before I put a seatbelt on.
My mom told me a story because she was a single mom at that time. She drove a Porsche. We were in Dallas.
Ooh.
And she would take me to daycare in the morning. I didn't ride in my seat. I rode on her chest, on her shoulder.
Oh, wow.
While she was driving in traffic.
Wow.
You forgot the rest of the story. She had a cigarette in one hand and a shot of gin in the other.
And the other part of the story is that Kim was 13 at the time. So there was all kinds of different aspects of this story that just went off the rails.
And she's driving a stick shift.
And she's driving a stick.
That's true.
That's awesome.
That part's true. Yeah, she did that in traffic.
Well,
she had me propped on her shoulder.
That's when she had her little Porsche, right?
Yeah,
she had her
Porsche,
little.
I was an infant.
Yeah.
That's a straight Britney Spears move right there.
Slightly predates Britney Spears just a year.
And my dad, when I go visit him, he lived in Dallas, and we would go to Waco to visit his parents, my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
He had a Jeep, and he always had the top off during the summer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There was times him and his girlfriend.
Of the Jeep, right? Not himself.
No, his top was off, too.
He just drive around shirtless.
It's Texas. They're always
of course.
He always had his Solo cup, and it had Crown Royal and Coke.
Snap.
Oh, yeah. That was his driving drink.
So that was back in the day.
We call it a road soda. Now, on that note, I have to go get behind the wheel of my automobile and take my son to Camp Invention.
Off to Camp Invention, yes. So, we're going to have the folks in Roswell Invaders. They should be joining us here about 8:30 or so, give or take. Well, I know they're coming in early, so we're gonna have them join us here when they join us here in bits. So we're kind of filling for time and things like that. A couple things I do want to put on your radar, though. Church on the Move. Mark Saturday, June 21st on your calendar. Going to be a big day with Church on the Move. On Saturday, June 21st at Cielo Grande Park, they're going to have their huge festival of fireworks and drone show starting at sundown. Come out early. The first 3,000 people will get free hamburgers. That's going to be starting at 5 p.m. And a special, and then also going on a special veteran steak dinner from 6 to 8 p.m. The steak dinner will be to honor our veterans, the Veterans Dinner, their annual Veterans Dinner they do. They ask that veterans bring your DD-214 or military ID with you for you and up to 3 immediate household members. They're going to have a special air-conditioned tent set up for you there as well. So it's all going to be out at Cielo Grande Park. That's kind of the difference this year. I think in years past they do the fireworks and drone show out at Cielo Grande, and then they had the Veterans Dinner out at Church on the Move. Well, all of it's going to be out at Cielo Grande this time. And so they'll have a big air-conditioned tent set up for our veteran stuff, so you can go out there and have your steak dinner. Again, it's going to be happening Saturday, June 21st, kind of the week before UFO Festival and 4th of July and all that stuff at Cielo Grande Park. It's going to be a great night of fun with food, music, and like I said, Constructables and Church on the Move. They're going to be doing. If you didn't catch out previous drone shows, it's amazing what they do with that. So check out this year's. Again, June 21st. Knock on wood that weather will cooperate with us that night, because the winds and rains and stuff tend to be issues when it comes to fireworks and drones. So hopefully all good there. But don't forget, and like I said, the first, they're going to have the steak dinner for veterans. And do they have a time on that one? I think it begins at 5 as well, at 5 o'clock. Everything's kind of going to get out and go. Oh, the veterans dinner's from 6 to 8. I just saw that there in the notes. 6 to 8. But beginning at 5, they'll have the burgers and everything. And the first 3,000 burgers, they're going to, people, you'll get burgers. Basically, they bought 3,000 burgers. When they're out of burgers, they're out of burgers. Mm-hmm. That's what that means.
Well, last year, I don't even remember them running out.
I don't think they did. Yeah, they had plenty of food last time, if I remember.
They didn't run out.
That being said, get there at 5, though, just in case. And of course, for veterans and 3 immediate families, come on out and for the steak dinner. And they do it upright with the big steak dinner and everything, all the trimmings and all that. And they do a big thank you to veterans. They've been doing this for years, as long as I can remember. And it's kind of evolved in different ways, shapes, and forms over the years, but they've been doing it for a long time. So. But again, it's going to be June 21st, all of it out at Cielo Grande Park. If you have any questions about anything on this event, you can contact the church, reach Church on the Move at 575-622-7011. Again, 575-622-7011, and get that taken care of. All right, it is 8:28. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and do weather, and then we'll take a break. And then we'll see where we're at with the invaders and all that, and kind of get a timeline on what's going on there. But it is 8:28. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have another low-pressure system developing over the southwestern states. Might bring us some rain by tonight and tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine today. We're headed for the mid-80s. Overnight, scattered showers and thunderstorms, mid-60s on the low. A mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday. Still a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms. It'll be a lot warmer, high around 90. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 61 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 67%. Winds currently out of the east at 10 miles per hour. We are looking at, actually, enjoy today. Savor today. Because later it's going to get hotter. Today, partly cloudy, 84 for a high. East winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. That's beautiful. Not too hot, a little breeze, a little overcast, my kind of day. Tonight we are looking at a good chance at rain, though. We are looking at a 40% chance at showers and thunderstorms. They say the sweet spot for rain is between the hours of 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. Mostly cloudy otherwise with an overnight low of 66 degrees. South winds will be at 5 to 15 miles per hour. For Thursday, we are looking at a 30% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy. Warming up, not quite to hot status, but getting there. 92 for a high on Thursday. East winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday night, we're looking at clear skies, overnight low 65 with south winds 5 to 15. And then for Friday, once again, a 20% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms. The thermostat starts kicking up a bit here. 96 for a high on Friday with southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 65 degrees. And then for the weekend, sunny and hot with a high of 97 on Saturday. Clear Saturday night, overnight low of 65. We are looking at a 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon Sunday. Otherwise, sunny, hot, 97 a high once again. And then Sunday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, clear with an overnight low of 65. 30% chance of rain Monday of next week. Mostly sunny, 92 otherwise. And looks like things start cooling as a 92 on Monday. I'm seeing 89 on Tuesday of next week. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's going to be our hot days there. All right, 8:31. Let's take a 3-minute break, and then we'll come back. We'll see if we hear from the invaders. Not there. Like I said, they should be popping in any time here. And then if not, we'll chit-chat some more and get news and all that in. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winter.
Hey Roswell, it's time to honor our heroes. Church on the Move invites all veterans in Roswell and the surrounding area to a special Veterans Dinner Saturday, June 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at Cielo Grande Park. Enjoy a delicious steak dinner with your immediate household or up to 3 guests, all in the comfort of an air-conditioned tent. Just bring your DD-214 or military ID to attend. Don't miss the firework and drone show open to the public at sundown. For more information, call Church on the Move at 575-622-7011. Brought to you by Constructibles and Church on the Move.
Join us for an unforgettable evening at our annual fundraiser dinner and auction, The Taste of the Spencer, on June 21st. All proceeds will support the Spencer Theater in furthering our mission to enrich the cultural lives of South Central New Mexico's residents and visitors. Tickets are $135 and can be purchased online at spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Hey Roswell, whatever you've got planned this week, cancel it, because Roswell Ford is slashing prices during our biggest Memorial Day savings event ever. These are the final days to get massive discounts with employee pricing for all. At Roswell Ford, you pay what we pay on our huge inventory of new Fords. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early, Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Our aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. With massive American-made savings, employee pricing for all, and more for your trade. We'll do whatever it takes to make a deal. Get on board at Roswell Ford. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinance to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Some wounds need expert care to heal properly. At Artesia General Hospital's Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center, we use advanced treatments like hyperbaric oxygen therapy to help chronic wounds heal faster. If you or a loved one has a wound that won't heal, call 575-736-8235 today and take the first step toward recovery.
Steep Street. Sheep Street Silver and Stones is Roswell's newest full-service jewelry store. They offer a complete selection of jewelry, including gold, silver, turquoise, bridal sets, and fine jewelry. They also offer lapidary, repairs, and complete custom design. Shop Sheep Street Silver and Stones, 3020 North Main in Roswell, across from Blake's. Sheep Street Silver and Stones. Hard to say, easy to love.
With your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. A list published this week by the federal government claims Eddy County is harboring illegal immigrants. The list was published by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, identifying hundreds of counties and cities across the nation as so-called sanctuary jurisdictions. Eddy County is on the list, as is Chavez, Otero, and Lincoln counties, and the cities of Santa Fe and Albuquerque. Eddy County Sheriff Matt Hutchinson is publicly decrying the list, which actually was removed from the Department of Homeland Security website on Monday. The sheriff, Hutchinson, says the list is full of, quote, inaccurate information. He claims Eddy County is not a sanctuary for criminals and that he will always uphold his oath to defend the U.S. Constitution without discrimination. Artesia General Hospital is now serving as a provider for continuing medical education for healthcare professionals. AGH received accreditation for the NMMS programming that will run through May of 2027. The Daily Press reports the designation enables the hospital to offer locally accredited educational activities for physicians, nurses, technicians, and allied health professionals, further supporting clinical excellence and professional development in southeast New Mexico. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 36 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, manager for our Roswell Invaders, Garrett Toddy, joining us in studio this morning. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, you know what? For a guy that's coming off 0 hours of sleep, you're looking, sounding pretty good.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to it. You know, in spring training, you're sitting up wondering what you're gonna do with the ball club. So, I mean, it's, you know, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep, and I'm not usually a morning person anyway. So,
Sure.
And then our workouts are in the morning, so, you know, I'm used to it by now. But
I thought our games are at night. What's going on here?
I know, and that's the deal. Is that growing up as a baseball player, you become a night person most of the time because just because, you know, it's part of the DNA that you play ball at night. But, you know, in spring training, we like to get things done a little bit earlier and let the guys take the night to rest and maybe learn the town a little bit and whatnot.
You think about it, though. It's like you guys, like, you live rock star lifestyles in some aspect. But, like, a rock star literally just does their thing at night, where you guys are like, okay, our show's at night, but we got to prep during the day. We're up at 2:30.
At 2:30, we're, you know,
so you get like
we're on the line having our, what I call our, quote, morning meeting, because it's morning for us. You know, we have our morning meeting at, you know, 2:30, and then we take batting practice at 3, and then, you know, I let the boys cut out and go get something to eat, or they bring their lunch with them, and then, you know, and then we get the field ready, and 6:30, man, it's time to play baseball. You know?
And you're ready to go and do everything. And this is important too, because, and this is something that actually we were just talking kind of before here is when we talk about, you know, the Invaders in the Pecos League, for some of these players, this is their first time being exposed to professional baseball. You know, prior to this, they come from college or high school. You know, it's little league ball versus, and I'm not trying to say little league.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying completely.
Now it's like, no, people are paying you for this sport.
Correct.
It's a different expectation now. It's not, yes, at a certain time, this is a learning moment, and we want these kids to get better, but there are actions for consequences. You miss meetings, you get fired. That's what happens with these types of things.
Right.
And they're kind of learning these things or being exposed to this for the first time in some cases.
Right. I mean, I remember, so I had an early exposure to pro baseball. I'm from a little town called Morris, Oklahoma. It's a town of 1,200 people, an hour south of Tulsa. And we actually, funny story about that, we don't have a working stoplight in my hometown, which is funny. But I grew up an hour south of Tulsa. We always used to go to Tulsa Driller games. And, I got to meet some of the players and stuff, and I got to meet the hitting coach. And one day the hitting coach told my dad have him at the ball field at 2 o'clock. It was a weekend. And so my dad had me at the ballpark at 2 o'clock, and I got to work with hitting coach and stuff. And next thing you know, I'm missing the first 5 days of first grade because I'm on the road with the Tulsa Drillers in San Antonio in the Texas League Championship. And I'm running around the clubhouse and stuff like that. And I'm getting an early exposure to pro ball.
Yeah.
And then we kept becoming Drillers fans. And then when I was 14, I became a bat boy for 3 years. And then I caught bullpens for 3 years. Like, I got to share a locker room with guys like Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story.
Cool.
And
you have a real unique, cool.
That's awesome. I've lived a weird life.
Yeah.
Like, I've lived a very, very weird life
but in a good
childhood.
Way. Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Because that set me up to play. I remember always telling people, I said, the turning point for me in my baseball life as a player, and I'll say this was the turning point that got me to play in the Pecos League, play pro baseball, was there was a heat wave in 2012 in Oklahoma.
Okay.
2 hottest places in the world were Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Baghdad, Iraq.
No,
right?
Don't want to be in either one at that point.
Oh, don't want to be in either one of them at that point. I just got done catching like 4 or 5 bullpens. I'm dripping sweat. All of my friends were going to a concert that night in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and I was like, man, I don't really have a life. I see all my friends at this concert. I'm watching Nolan Arenado taking 120 ground balls in 120-degree heat, and he plays at 7 o'clock that night. I was like, you know what? I ought to quit feeling sorry for myself that I'm dying right now and just understand that I get to be on a pro baseball field every day.
Well, and this also these stories you're telling also kind of proves a point that I think people have. When we think of terms of major sports, the 4 big sports here, and then you have guys that over the years like John Kruk say, "I'm not an athlete, I'm a ball player."
Right. I love Krucky, by the way. He's great with that line.
But there's kind of there's that image of baseball, and this kind of shows me like, no, this is the part that young people probably realize that at a certain age. It's like, no, to get to the level of baseball, to major league, to get to that level of there is no such thing. You are an athlete. You are working. You are sitting in the middle of Omaha doing in 150 degrees, shagging fly balls and checking grounders
100%.
And everything else over and over again.
100%.
You get to be on that stage to sit there and chew sunflower seeds. You know what I mean?
Oh no! And speaking of to sit on that stage and chew sunflower seeds is the 25th guy on the bench, or 26 now, but the 26th guy on the bench in the big leagues.
Yeah.
That dude was Mr. Baseball in his hometown.
Exactly.
And he doesn't ever play, but he was Mr. Baseball in his hometown.
He was a rock star there.
I'm one of 2 guys in my hometown, or 3 guys in my hometown to play pro baseball. I know it's a town of 1,200, but still, like, it's an honor to me, to be able to do that. And it takes a lot of sacrifice, not just from yourself.
Sure.
But, my parents, man, family vacations was spent at the ballparks, and I have a great sports system in my mom and dad. And, here with our host families, we have a great support system. And, honestly, I'd like to.
Yeah, we need some help there right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, we have great host families. We would like to have more,
sure.
Just for comfortability for the guys.
Yeah.
And just, also too, we have a great group of guys, and I want as many people to experience the players that we have,
meet them,
and how good of human beings they are. Because I tell everybody, when you watch baseball and sports on TV, and you think that if you cut them, they bleed oil because they look like well-oiled machines. But when you cut our any pro player, they bleed red because they're humans at the end of the day. And we have a lot of kids on this team, and it's the highest compliment that I can give to anybody that's a baseball player is he's a better human than he is a baseball player. He's a better person than he is a baseball player.
And every one of these young men have worked hard to get to this point.
Yes,
when
absolutely.
they are at this point, you can't, for lack of a better term, half-ass it to get here.
No, absolutely
not. You have
not.
to be at the top of your game to get here.
No, absolutely
and
not.
You have to do that to get to the next level too.
Right.
So to even be on this roster is a show of their character. To say that these young men have work ethics and have a real ability to chase their goals.
No, I mean these kids have worked their hind ends off just to get to a point where me or my pitching coach Dave Ramsey give them a call.
Yeah,
and then they come here and they work even harder to make the ball club.
Sure,
so it's.
And that's where you're seeing the effort here.
Yes.
But kind of, I'm going to steer back before we get there. Is right now we do have a need for more host families for this season. The obligation's pretty easy. Basically, if you've got a room to spare,
right,
with a bed and
exactly,
and then feed them.
Feed them and give them a place for them to wash their uniform and clothes and stuff.
And everything else
that's
is pretty
much, and anything else is gravy on top,
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all we're asking. And now, these are young men in their early 20s.
Their early to mid-20s,
and they are hungry lads. So
they
will be eaten.
Yes, they're hungry lads. I'm not going to lie and say that they're only going to want 3 square meals a day, but I'll say that we do have a great support system with a lot of those families we have cooking right now. But
they all become kind of like in years past. It's almost like having the foreign exchange student where they're still having relationships with these players. Like some of the players have gone on to different levels of baseball. They're still having relationships with their host families from back here in Roswell.
That brings up another story, man. You're just softballing the stories for me right now. So Trisha Hart, who is our host family coordinator, shout out Trisha, she's awesome. She was my first host mom, and Jerry Hart, her husband, my host dad. They were my first host family in the Pecos League. Roswell was my first team.
So they were your welcome to Roswell.
Exactly. They were the first people I met when I come to Roswell. And 2018, I played for I don't know, maybe 3.5 weeks in Roswell. I got released. I got picked up by California City. The whole time that I'm playing for California City, obviously, I'm busy. My phone, sorry, my phone's going off right now. I was just about to say I don't always text back all the time. But
looks like one of our players are here. Come on in. I see him. I saw him.
Benica Papi.
Come on in. Come on in, have a seat.
But,
we're just winging it. Just come on in.
No, you're good, JJ. So the whole time I was playing in Cal City, Trish and Jerry were keeping up with the box scores and how we was doing. And, we can make it to the playoffs. And they said, congratulations making it to the playoffs, all that. 19, I play for Garden. We come to Roswell. I didn't stay in the hotel. I stayed at Jerry and Trish's house.
Because that's what you do.
Because they said, hey, anytime you're in town, stay at our house.
Absolutely.
And, some people are like that, some people are not. And then no one played in 20. 21, we didn't come to Roswell. I was managing Garden City at the time. 22, we didn't come to Roswell. 23, we came 3 times. Right? See Trish and Jerry, haven't seen them in forever. And then now, last year in Roswell, Trish and Jerry are my host family again.
So you're back living with them.
Yes,
awesome.
The connections that you make with these kids really are lifelong, and the good character ones.
Absolutely.
Which I feel like
do they put you to work like you had to paint the house or do any of those kind of things?
I don't know. They didn't really put me to work. It was more just
they could do some weeding if you need it.
Hey, here's the deal that I tell my boys is these people have busy lives. The most that you can do for them, do it, and that means taking out the trash. If you use pots and pans, you better wash them, stuff like that. Like, they understand that if they cook, they better clean up after themselves.
Sure.
If half the trash is their trash, they better take that thing out, even if it's not, right? These people have careers and lives that they go to work during the day.
Yeah.
You know, the least you can do, they're putting you up in the house. The least you can do is take the trash out for them.
They're learning,
you know?
guys. But at the same time, it's a lot of it. But this is the family thing, and this is where it turns into this.
This is where it turns into family.
And I'm going to take a stab. Is next thing you know, you're taking out the trash or whatever, and now you're literally just one of their children, basically. It's like, now
right.
Next thing you know, you got the Owen Mills portrait, and there's the
right. No,
there with the kid in the background.
Yeah. I mean, we used to try to just get to learn. That was one thing that I tell all the players is the best thing that I ever did with Jerry and Trish, my first host families. I got to know them. I sat and watched TV with them and talked to them and learned stuff about them, and they learned stuff about me. And I took that with the other host families I had whenever I was playing. I tell the boys,
you just build relationships.
Get to know your host family. Don't just come in and go to your room and sit down and
they'll
watch
turn out
YouTube
to be support
and stuff.
Systems, really, later in life, and your biggest fans.
Absolutely, they want to get to know you. If they didn't want to get to know you, they wouldn't welcome you into their house.
Absolutely,
and stuff like that.
So if someone's interested in saying they're listening, say, you know what, maybe we should host it. What's the best way to kind of just get a hold of you guys through the website or Facebook?
The best way is to contact Trisha Hart.
Okay.
I have her number right here.
All right.
Would we like to put it over the airwaves?
Yeah,
Are
I
we
think
sure
she'd
about
be
that?
fine with that. She's usually pretty good about that.
Okay.
If not, she can yell at me later.
Contact Trisha Hart. That is the Roswell Invaders host family coordinator. Her phone number is area code 575-317-8513. That's area code 575-317-8513.
Very good. And of course, if you're driving, don't remember anything, I think if you go to like the Invaders Facebook, shoot a message, someone will definitely feed that back to you or anything like that.
Absolutely. And I think
they'll get a hold of Trish.
There's multiple ways to get a hold of Trish. I mean,
or come out to a ball game.
Come out to a ball game.
That'd be a great way to do it too.
Come out to a ball game. I'm the guy that coaches third base that has the great mustache, self-proclaimed, but great mustache.
No, that's a strong stash.
It's a great. Your
stash game is strong, sir.
Me and my dad got the same one, so you know. But if you are interested in in being a host family, and don't know Trisha, and didn't get that phone number, if you are interested in hosting, come to a game.
Yeah,
I'm on the field. I coach third base. Just please don't come in the middle of an inning and start yelling, I want to be a host family.
Maybe wait till he's in the bullpen or in the dugout.
Right. So, before the game, after the game, just say, hey, I'm interested in hosting. Who do I talk to? If, most 100% of the time, Trish is at the game. If for some reason she is not, I have her phone number and you'll be able to contact her.
You'll see her
so
that
there's
night.
multiple ways. Plus, too, wouldn't you like to, take a look at the player that you might be hosting and stuff at a ball game before you take them on,
That's right. Come out to the game. That's the thing. Come see fun and
it's fun, man.
Let's get a chance to introduce our player.
Oh,
been
please,
patiently,
quietly
talking.
He's the best. He's the best. He's the most patient.
What's your name, sir?
Hello, my name is Ioannis Alexandrov. I'm from Bulgaria, Sofia. I grew up in Italy.
Okay.
Yes. And I played my last 5 years here in the United States.
So how did you end up in Roswell? How did you get from there? I mean, playing ball, obviously, but somebody had to see you somewhere doing something.
Tell him who you texted.
I text one of my best friends that we live in Miami together and we train together in Miami.
Okay.
His name is Luis Moreno, that he played here last year.
Former Invader.
Former Invader, yeah.
Oh, so there's the tie.
Yeah, he's currently playing in a major level in independent ball right now. I don't know. I text him because I was looking for a job because I was injured for the last 2 years. Before that, I was playing with the Chicago Cubs for 3 years. And he gave me the phone number of Garrett. And he texted me, I shoot him a text, and he will definitely get you back. You
gotcha.
know?
So this is kind of like with the injury, you're trying to kind of come back from that. You were at this level, the injury sidelined you, and you're now like, no, I got to work my way back up.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I have to re-put the stats back and have to work together with the team and with
get speed back, right? I mean, that's probably the biggest thing is time away. You kind of you have to readjust to the speed of the games.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. What position do you play?
I'm a catcher and first baseman.
So you got bad knees, huh?
No, my knees are pretty good.
No, hey, I will say this: he is healthy and strong as an ox. I will say that.
Well, when you're my age, those knees will be barking.
I've never seen somebody lift up the back end of a lawnmower so easily in my life.
Nice, good deal. So that's when we talk baseball, that's like the pitcher catcher, man. That's the relationship, right? I mean,
I can just say I'm the mama.
Yeah,
you
kind of.
I'm like,
yes,
because you kind of serve as a psychiatrist for some of these guys sometimes, right? You're that person.
There's a bunch of times that I just call time in the game and I see the pitcher that is going like crazy on the mound if he throws too many balls and stuff, and I just go there and I just say something random. I'm like, hey, what did you eat this morning?
Yeah.
Or like some other stuff that I don't want to say right now, but I'm like,
just
take him out.
Loosen him up a little bit.
You missed my best mound visit of the year while you were gone, by the way.
I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't. It was the best. It was the absolute best.
With who?
Oh, shoot. Who was it? Geez, I can't remember. But it was just, oh, man, I told him about a dream of me, catching, with only underwear on.
See? The Bull Durham movie.
Works. I'm telling you, it works.
Spot on.
It works.
The whole Bull Durham.
Because his runners on first and second, nobody out. He just gave up a hit and walked the guy. He's like, oh, Skip's coming. What's he going to say? And I said, dude, I had a dream last night. And I've used it before, but I was like, no. Actually, that was a different year. This one was, dude, I had a dream last night that I was playing again. And I left for the ballpark early because I was excited. But I left my cleats the first time, went back, got my cleats. And then the next time I left my hat. And by the time I got all my stuff figured out, I was late to the ball game and couldn't find the clubhouse.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're like, all these guys are like laughing along. Like, by
the time they're like, I'm not worried about this pitch no more.
Well, it honestly makes the pitcher feel sane because all this stuff was going on in my head while I was sleeping.
I was imagining what umpire is thinking about these moments because he always comes and listen at the conversation. He's like, what are these guys are talking about?
And they always keep a straight face. How do you keep a straight face when we're talking about this?
I never laugh.
That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome. And please tell me you've had a conversation about getting a gift for someone. Candlesticks make it. That whole scene from Bull Durham.
Oh, my gosh.
Please tell me there's one of those scenes.
Oh, my gosh. So I had a pitcher one time. He loved the movie Bull Durham. It's my favorite movie. I came out there and said one phrase to him, and he laughed, and we were all good. And he got the next guy out and got out of the inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. He's like kind of rubbing up the ball, like, okay, what the crap's going on? And so I go out and I, say, hey, candlesticks make a nice gift. Pat him on the butt and walk off. And I turn and kind of look around, and I turn and kind of look behind me, and he is like head down, giggling, laughing. And I'm like, perfect. I got him right where I want him.
That's the psyche absolutely. I just saw time. We got about 3 minutes here before we got to go to news here. But folks, we are looking for host guys, and come out. We're about 2 weeks into the season now here.
We're like 5 games into it, man. We got a lot of games left.
That's right. You had like
we had spring training
game, and that was like early May, so that's why it feels like a couple of weeks. But yeah, season's full swing, and when's the next game?
Tonight.
Tonight's next home game out at Joe Bauman. Come on out and go to the Roswell Invaders website. You can go there. You can get the whole schedule there. You can actually get season tickets, all that stuff. Get your Invader swag if you want to get your shirts and everything. It's
absolutely.
Please go out there and support and it's okay if you're not a fan of safety green. You can go with the blue.
Right. But I mean, our green jerseys look very really good.
I like these. These
are nice.
Like I've seen a brighter version that I'm like, all right, that hurts my eyes. This one's.
It's a little more subdued. It's a little more I guess you could say a little more baseball-y, classy, I guess you could say.
Although baseball uniforms are getting wild now, man.
They are getting a little wild. They are getting a little wild. Do we have any more time?
Yeah.
So I would like to also say we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids camps coming up this summer.
Oh, great.
Where you can learn, your kids can learn from the invaders.
They get to hang out on the ball field.
And get to learn from us, have a catch and learn and hit and throw and play. And our kids camps are this summer are June 6th, all of them at 10 a.m.
Okay.
June 5th, June 11th, June 18th, June 25th, and July 9th.
Okay, so almost every week in June there's a camp going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then into July as well too. They sign up through the website?
They can pay at
just
the gate of Joe Bauman. Yes, they can just show up.
Okay.
And then speaking on our schedule, we play here tonight, here tomorrow, and then the 8th through the 14th. That whole week we are at home. So come out and support the invaders.
Baseball night every night?
Heck, every night. Every night. The kids will get to learn who their favorite player is the more they come out there.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Come out there and enjoy baseball, and it's a great atmosphere.
Absolutely.
And come see the invaders, which they're, like you said, you're already, this year is a marked improvement from last year. This team is getting better, and
just in the character of the kids alone.
Come watch and grow with this team together here a little bit. So,
and if you want a ball signed, when you come to the ballpark, bring a ball. All my guys love signing autographs.
Absolutely, and you could take one home.
Absolutely, you could take a player home. You in a good way. You could take a player home with you.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for. I know you guys had a long night here, and get some rest for tonight here, and we got to get you guys back in soon. Maybe here in June, as we middle of that, kind of remind folks again to come on out to these camps and everything.
Oh, I mean, shoot, I'll do a radio show with you every week, man. You're fun.
There we go. Yeah, we have a good time.
I'll bring a brand new player every time. I don't care.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanking you.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
One supreme leader is defiant, saying there is no way the Islamic Republic will stop enriching uranium, something experts say is key to building a nuclear arsenal.
The remarks by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei coloured in a red line, one that says Tehran refuses to give up enriching uranium in any possible deal with the US. That demand has been repeatedly made by American officials, including President Donald Trump, though it remains unclear just how much envoy Steve Witkoff brought it up in his initial proposal to Tehran. But what Khamenei did not say in his speech matters as well. He didn't reject the talks, which Iran views as crucial for its economy to lift some of the crushing economic sanctions it faces. Khamenei also didn't insist on any specific level of nuclear enrichment. Iran now enriches uranium up to 60%, a short technical step from weapons-grade levels. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The FBI has reportedly made an arrest in New York in connection with last month's explosion at a Palm Springs, California fertility clinic. Details expected soon. A news conference pending by federal prosecutors in Los Angeles. On Wall Street, the Dow trading 65 points higher. The Nasdaq is up 59. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Several people feared dead and many more injured in a stampede outside a cricket stadium in southern India. The crush happened as thousands of cricket fans gathered outside the stadium to celebrate the winners of the Indian Premier League. Local television news shows some people on the ground, emergency personnel carrying people into ambulances. Indian authorities haven't immediately confirmed the number of fatalities in that stampede. Mount Etna has again captivated the world with a spectacular show. The volcano that towers over eastern Sicily, spewing smoke and ash high into the sky. But the defining event of this week's eruption was the more rare pyroclastic flow from the southwestern crater. That's visible, not visible from a distance. The volcano is Europe's most active and the continent's largest. Etna attracts hikers and backpackers to its slopes, while the less adventurous can take it in from a distance. News and analysis, townhall.com. The FDA will be taking a closer look at what goes into baby formula.
Nutrition expert Dr. Stephen Abrams of the University of Texas says the broader scientific community has been calling for the re-evaluation of infant formula for years.
The purpose of this is to take a look at all the ingredients that are in infant formula and see, do we have just the right amounts, do we have the best forms, and can we improve it?
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says about 3/4 of U.S. infants take formula during the first 6 months of life, and about 40% are given formula as their only source of nutrition. I'm Donna Warder.
Smoke from the Canadian wildfires bringing another day of poor air quality to the American Midwest and some points to the east. Conditions in parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan were rated very unhealthy yesterday. Smell of smoke hanging over the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome. I'll go slow. To hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters. Thank you, Jocelyn. Right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Sean will be back. He's taking the boy to camp convention, so he'll be back here. But you didn't do the Tracy and Bierna.
I did not. That's your staff that gets to do that.
Yeah, that's their thing.
Yeah.
So Sean will be back to do the Tracy and Biernas for next time. So, but happy Wednesday. Hope all of you are having a wonderful Wednesday thus far. Lots going on here and lots happening. Matter of fact, this is happening here Father's Day weekend. We had an interview with some of the folks from the Carlsbad Gem and Mineral Society. Had a great conversation with Mr. Michael. He had that boy knew more about rocks than I know about anything. and they want to invite everyone out to the Carlsbad Gem and Mineral Society's Carlsbad Rock Show that's going to be happening Father's Day weekend, which is June 13th through the 15th. It'll be all 3 days. And it's going to be in Carlsbad at the Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park. It's going to be 3 full days of rocks, baby. It's a rock show. But a lot of fun stuff, actually. A lot of cool things. If you're a collector of like geodes and beads and minerals and fossils, they're going to have that stuff for sale and other things that you can, like they're going to have like prizes to win stuff. Like they're going to have every 15 minutes win stuff for kids, including the Wheel of Fortune, where it's like a big wheel they spin, and then when you land on it, it gives you a prize of like different types of rocks and gems and things like that. They're also going to have story time with Michelle on Friday and Saturday at 11. Door prizes as well all day. Sunday it's going on all 3 days. Now, the best part is admission is free. There's no cost to get in. If you buy food and things at the event, that costs, obviously, but there's no cost to get in. And there's going to be stuff each day, beginning the 13th and then going on through the 15th. So it'll be June 13th and the 14th. That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then Sunday the 15th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And, again, it's all going to be at Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park in Carlsbad there. So, and if you want to learn more, I invite you to go back to Mornings with Mike Winters and go to yesterday's show and check out our interview we had with the Gem and Mineral Society. Had a fun little conversation about that. So I invite you to check that out. So when you're not out in Invaders baseball and stuff, go on ahead and on down to Carlsbad. Make a day of it. Go down there and maybe pick your favorite, find a restaurant down there if you have one, and go get your eat there and go do the Gem and Mineral. Maybe, while you're there, go trek on down to the caverns too while you take a weekend of it. So whatever floats your boat. But anyway, that's going to be happening the weekend, Father's Day weekend, June 13th through the 15th. I do want to remind folks, too, that every Friday night, Roswell Night Skies is having their movies in the park. Week 2 will get underway this Friday. Every Friday night from now through August 8th, they're going to be showing a free movie at the Rust Decay Park there, 1500 North Grand. Movies will begin at sunset, which give or takes roughly around 8:30 p.m. If you want to see the list of all the movies for the summer, and they're always looking for more volunteers to get involved with the organization. It's all put on by Roswell Night Skies. It's a nonprofit, and they just want to start community events and doing things. We had Mark and Cisco on last week talking more about it. And but visit RoswellNightSkies.org if you want to learn more about the organization. But you can also see the list of the movies for the summer. So last week they kicked things off with the original Shrek movie. This Friday night they're going to be showing the movie Wicked. So if you missed the Wicked scare, or if you want to go and I don't know what the rule is on singing. I'm going to take a stab since you're out in the park and it's open. Sing away, because I know like certain movies evoke singing. And I think Wicked is one of these movies that evokes singing. So if you're a singer, maybe check with the crowd around you before you. Now, if they'll just start singing, When in Rome, right?
Kind of have to read the room.
Yeah, read the room on that one. But yeah, When in Rome. But it'll be Wicked this Friday night. Again, about 8:30 p.m. Free movie. Just bring the family, bring your lawn chairs, blankets. They usually have some food trucks out there and some other stuff going on too. So come on, come a little hungry and do all that. And again, go to RoswellNightSkies.org to learn more about the organization and the movies. Now, next, I'll give you the June movies here. So June 6th, the first movie of June will be Wicked. Next Friday, the 13th, they're going to be showing Disney's Mufasa. On June 20th, they're going to be showing Paddington in Peru, Paddington Bear movies. I guess I didn't know there was that many Paddington Bear. I thought there was 1 and 2, and I guess in Peru there's got to be at least 3 then, huh? And then June 27th, we'll round out the month of June with The Wild Robot. But then they continue on into July and that first week of August, too. So go see a movie. Free. Bring the family. Whole lot of fun there. Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a few. Then shortly thereafter, we're going to play our interview we had yesterday with Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum. They joined us. He joined us yesterday to give us great news that the museum is now reopened. It's been closed for the last, I think, 7 months because of flooding and at the air terminal there, and they finally got everything back, and they moved everything, and the museum is back to being operational again. They're opening each day during the flying schedule, during the lunch hour. But we had a great conversation with Robert talking about that and just talking about other things with the museum. So we're going to play that for you here in just a few minutes. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with the news, the local variety, Wall Street business updates, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have another low-pressure system developing over the southwestern states. Might bring us some rain by tonight and tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine today. We're headed for the mid-80s. Overnight, scattered showers and thunderstorms, mid-60s on the low. A mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday. Still a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms. It'll be a lot warmer, high around 90. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 60%. Winds are currently blowing out of the north at 8 miles per hour. Mostly sunny today. Enjoy it. Temperatures, they high too. 84 are expected high today. No complaints here. East winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. They do say they might shift to the south this afternoon, so watch out for that. You know, put your finger up, wet your finger, and wait for the shift. For tonight, they're hitting us with some pretty decent rain chances. We are looking at a 40% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight. They say our sweet spot is between the hours of 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 66 degrees. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Looking at your Thursday, we're looking at a 30% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy. 92 are high there with east winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 65 with south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, they turn the thermostat up, but we do have some rain chances, 20% chance at showers Friday afternoon, but sunny and hot with a high of 98. Winds will be out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, clear, overnight low of 65 degrees. Saturday, another scorcher. Sunday, sunny and hot with a high of 97. Mostly clear Saturday night with an overnight low of 66. And then Sunday, a 20% chance at afternoon showers. Otherwise, sunny and hot, 97 are high there. 20% chance of rain Sunday night as well. Mostly clear, overnight low of 65. And then Monday, 30% chance of rain. Otherwise, sunny and 92. Looks like a little cooler for next week. 92 Monday, 89 on Tuesday. But for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, cranking it up, upper 90s there. All right, 9:15, we're going to take a 2.5-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview we had yesterday with Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Are your kids riding safely? Did you know 3 out of 4 car seats are used incorrectly? Car seat inspection events happen all around New Mexico, free of charge by the NMDOT Traffic Safety Division. Certified child passenger safety technicians give parents and caregivers personal instruction on installation and use of your car seat. Make sure your kids are safe passengers. Go to safernm.org to find an event near you. Brought to you by this station and the NMBA.
Hey Roswell, it's time to honor our heroes. Church on the Move invites all veterans in Roswell and the surrounding area to a special Veterans Dinner Saturday, June 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at Cielo Grande Park. Enjoy a delicious steak dinner with your immediate household or up to 3 guests, all in the comfort of an air-conditioned tent. Just bring your DD-214 or military ID to attend. Don't miss the firework and drone show open to the public at sundown. For more information, call Church on the Move at 575-622-7011. Brought to you by Constructibles and Church on the Move.
Let the summer fun begin. The Carlsbad Water Park is now open for summer at 708 Park Drive in Carlsbad. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. all summer long. Bring the family and enjoy 5 water slides, a lazy river, pool area, 0 entry children's play area, covered and poolside lounge chairs, and free Wi-Fi. All for only $5 a day per person. Guests under 4 and 62 or older are free. So let the summer fun begin. Log on to destinationcarlsbad.com for more information. Ad paid for by the City of Carlsbad Lodgers Tax.
Do you want to improve the appearance of your smile or increase your self-esteem and confidence? Many people have already chosen to update their smile with veneers. Here at Carabelli Dental in Roswell, we work with our patients to understand their smile goals. With veneer treatment, we can eliminate gaps between teeth, solve the problems of stained teeth, and even perfect uneven or misshaped teeth. You owe it to yourself to have the smile you know is possible. Call us now.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 575-622-4455.
Rock out to Voyager, a spectacular tribute to the legendary rock band Journey, on Saturday, June 7th at 8 p.m. at the Spencer Theater. Voyager provides today's most entertaining and authentic journey experience with songs such as Don't Stop Believin', Separate Ways, and Any Way You Want It. Tickets start at $66. Get yours online at spencertheater.com or call the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And joining us in studio this morning, Robert Sherman back with us with the Walker Aviation Museum. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Good, Mike.
Well, it's
doing good.
Good. Well, it's finally.
We got.
It's been months.
Yeah, it's been since late October 2024.
Oh man,
that's terrible.
It is. It's been 10 months, 9 months, something like that. Yeah.
So you can imagine how much dust accumulated and everything, trying to get everything back into place, and then get it cleaned up. And
you probably had to do it in a short amount of time because they kind of probably said one day, all right, you're good to go in there now and do what you got to do. And then you're like, all right, so gangbusters.
Yeah, we had a bunch of folks show up, and we got stuff moved around. That worked, and had a bunch of folks show up a few days ago and kind of get things dusted off and trying to get things organized a little bit.
Yeah. But for folks, we're pleased to announce that for a few hours each day here, we'll be able to open the museum up and as it was the case before, works around the lunchtime flying schedule here at the airport there with American Eagle. So, you come around lunchtime, around 11 till about 12:30 or so. It's going to be open. You can come in and check it out.
Yeah, right now, today and tomorrow, the plane takes off at 12:50.
Okay.
And then I'm going back in on Thursday, and I just checked it out, and the flights start leaving not 12:50, but at 11:22.
Okay, it's a little earlier.
Yeah, so right now we're going in about 10:30ish.
Okay.
And then shut down about 1. And then for Thursday, then I'll go in about 9:15 and probably leave about 11:30.
Okay.
So it's kind of
working around that schedule.
If you can go to AA.com and just click on flight status and put in ROW for Roswell and DFW for Dallas, it'll tell you what all your departure times are, and we have to kind of adjust ourselves to that.
Sure.
Otherwise, we go out there and open it up, and there's nobody there.
Right.
They've already gone or
preaching to the choir.
Yeah, really.
In between shifts there, and now at some point we would like to offer more hours and things like that.
And we're going to offer more hours during, of course, the air races.
Sure. But what we really can use is volunteers. That's
there you go. Yeah.
That's what we need is now that the museum is back and operational again, we would love to get volunteers to serve whatever it is, a few hours a day, serve as docents there.
Yeah, we almost had a new person to help with the museum, and she came and waited, and we were closed for 6 months, 7 months. So I called her the other day, and she said, "Well, I've got a couple other projects I'm working now."
Yeah, that's the problem is, idle hands, they can get busy quick. So.
Yeah.
So, but if you are looking for something to do, especially, now that the summer's here and you're thinking, man, I got some time on my hands, I'd love to get involved with something like that.
Yeah.
Come on down to the museum. Come out, during the days here, come around 10, 11 o'clock here, and you'll see Robert or one of the other volunteers and have a conversation.
Well, the other day we were working, a kind of interesting story. We were trying to clean up, and the main big screen door dropped. It's not, and we just had just the side door open as far as getting in and out. So when people walk up, and you see people kind of coming up against the screen, kind of like a dog looking in.
Sure, yeah. Window shopping.
The guy was looking in, and I said, we were just doing some stuff, cleaning up, and he said, just go ahead, come around the corner and just come on in.
Yeah.
Look around. Because he said he was stationed here and did all this stuff and had all this connections with Walker. So he came around and he was talking to me, and he was facing kind of toward the south wall, and he was talking, and then all of a sudden he couldn't talk anymore. And he said, "I'm sorry," and he was starting to tear up.
Oh, get emotional.
And he was looking at the big patch we have on the wall of Strategic Air Command, SAC.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I'm sorry, I was just really attached to this." And he lives about 40 miles out west of Artesia.
Okay.
And out in a ranch. But he hadn't been in and, seen stuff like that, and it just kind of hit him like, wow. All the memories came back to him. And so I went over there and grabbed a couple of sack pins that we have, and I gave them to him. I said, I'll take these, and here's a Walker pin. And then it even more emotional than he was before.
That's cool.
This guy was a B-52 engine mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of like I told my wife and I told some other guys, I said, that would have been worth walking all the way to the base just to have that one guy come in and stuff. It was very emotional for him and stuff.
Yeah.
And it actually ended up being emotional for me too, because it was kind of like, wow.
Well, you can relate to exactly what he's coming from.
Right.
Even though your experiences are different, they're the same. You know what I mean?
And I've seen that patch about 500 times.
Right. You swam in some of them pools too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm past that point. But he said, I'd be glad to come out and help you guys clean up and give me a call, and I could possibly come out and, open the museum sometime. And
that'd be awesome.
So I think he's, out toward Hope. And he can come in that side, that quick, as you're coming back from Cloudcroft. You can turn in and come into the base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll get a hold of him. And it was a real pleasure talking to him. And
sounds like I think he'd really enjoy that.
Yeah, he got married here and everything, and his wife had just passed away a couple of months ago. And, so he had a lot of stuff on his mind. And so I was thinking, wow, I'm just really, really glad I saw you on the thing, and I'm glad I asked you in.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was a right place, right time kind of moment.
That was a good deal.
And this is actually kind of one of the perks of being a docent. Like, if you want to be a volunteer, this is something that happens, a couple times a season where, the museum will be open, and some family of a service member, or maybe even them themselves that served here, they come rolling through on summer vacation, and they're saying, hey, let's go see where mom or dad, spent time in Roswell. And all the time they'll hear stories of, or maybe they were here as children and they remember their base life. And so it really is a lot of, the people of Walker, of Roswell Army Airfield. They, you get to see that every summer. They come through. And so that's kind of a perk. If you love talking with people and love, hearing those stories, then I think you'll find great pleasure in being a docent out at the museum.
Yeah. Just everybody keep in mind that our website is WAFB standing for Walker Air Force Base. So if you can't understand my voice, I apologize. WAFBmuseum.org.
Yes.
And you can find out. You can go to that, and then you can go up in the corner and click a little. Depends what you're on, a computer or if you're on a smartphone, and click on it, and it'll give you a history thing you can activate, or you can activate education.
Okay.
And we've got a lot of good stuff on information on education. And as a matter of fact, we have a 2-page handout front and back that we pass out to people that if they go to education under our website, all kinds of YouTubes that they can, about 12 YouTubes they can play for different careers, and then they can access ONET online. We give you 1,014 jobs.
Yeah.
And also on that same under education, we've listed 480 jobs that are kind of STEM oriented in the Roswell region, from 3 phone books and all kinds of things that, if you're a student out there and kind of waiting for school to start again, and
sure,
you can go to that site, and we got 38 videos that total 12 hours long that are the basic ground school for being a pilot. So
you want to learn everything and see, and that's a great way to see if this interests you before you commit spending money and all that kind of
stuff.
thing.
Absolutely. It's just like my cousin's son wanted to be a dentist, and he said, okay, I'm not going to pay a penny until you go work at a dentist office.
Yeah, make sure you like
for a week or two. And so he went off, he found one, and he worked for one day, and came back, and he says, no way. This day, he's an optometrist, and he married an optometrist, and they got a really nice place in Lenexa, Kansas.
Nice. I guess,
Oh, no. In Lawrence, Kansas, I believe it is. Anyway.
Good
whatever.
deal. He decided a few inches north is more for him than
Yeah. Talking about, Walker and that connection, I got a phone call the other day from a gentleman, Hans Smith. He's, matter of fact, calling me tomorrow night, and we're going to talk. he wrote a book about his great uncle.
Okay.
And his great uncle was a pilot in a B-17.
Okay.
Flew in the 8th Air Force in England. And long story toward the end, on the 27th of April, 1944, he was flying his 27th mission. They started out doing 25 missions.
Right.
And then General LeMay, and because of the loss of crews and stuff, they had to bump it up to 30 missions.
Yeah,
so on the 27th mission, he was shot down and killed.
Oh, geez.
But Hans Smith wrote a book, and I've got it here. If you're on the video on the computer, you can see it. But it's called Bombs Away, a B-17 pilot's small part in a big war.
Okay.
And it just happens that when they go through their initial training, they go to, initial military school, like marching around and running and getting in shape. And they go to initial pilot training. And then the second school he went to was the advanced pilot training at Roswell.
Oh, okay.
So he was, checking that out. And
so he's stayed in our patch of dirt for a little bit.
Yeah, so he was here in Roswell doing the multi-engine, which we had advanced pilot training here during World War II. So
this kind of goes that
I read
testament
that,
we
and
talk
then he
about.
talked about England a lot. And I was stationed 3 years in England, and it was really interesting. And just the way he did stuff, he picked up different people's stories and stuff, and he'd give them credit, and then he'd make it bold print, and he'd kind of say exactly all the stuff that came out of that memoir or whatever. And I want to tell him that tomorrow night when I talk to him. I said, I thought it was very effective. And I was reading a lot of books, and I thought it was easy to read and go through, and the way he kind of would jump around and quote other people that were doing similar type books like he was, or memoirs and stuff. So
well, I love it. And it's, to be honest, this is great that we have people, going back and telling their relative stories and keeping, because
right.
To be honest, these people will be long and forgotten for history.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about it. He said, found out, and this is his first book he's ever written, and he said, my great uncle, did this, and anyway, it's a very interesting book.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of, I wish there was more, and you almost wish like that there was more of that, like even like earlier wars and our Civil War and some of these. I mean, we have some of that, but I'm sure there's so many stories from the Civil War that are just never lost to the history because they were never told in a book or something. And so to me, that every war has that, and it's great that now we're seeing a couple generations later talking about their grandparents or whatever and their experiences, and they're kind of preserving that history a little bit this way. That's awesome. Love that.
Right. So if you go to Amazon, you can just look up Bombs Away, and then he said B-17 pilot, small and part of a big war, but the author is Hans, H-A-N-S, P as in Paul, Smith.
Hans
Smith.
All right.
Bombs Away. So
Good
anyway,
deal.
you can check that out. But
excellent.
Yeah.
Recommended reading list.
Recommended reading.
Again, if you have any questions about anything, wafbmuseum.org is the website. There you can, like Robert was mentioning earlier, look at all the STEM stuff there. But if you'd like to make a donation to the museum, there is a button, a link to do that as well. And of course, if we mentioned volunteering. Docents also serving on the board or some other way. There's other opportunities to serve if you're like, well, I'm a little shy around people, but I'd love to help out in other ways.
Right.
Then we can find that too. So.
Yeah, and I can give you some examples here, but just our current board members are Doug Weiser. He's general manager of Cattle Baron.
When Robert's not here, usually Doug's here.
It's an advantage having him as president, because if we couldn't meet at the base or we couldn't meet somewhere else, we said, well, I guess we'll just have to eat at the Pasta Cafe.
That's right.
So anyway, we'd meet at the Pasta Cafe, and he'd provide a few little things for us to nibble on.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Doug Weiser and myself, I'm the secretary right now. Allie Bishop, she volunteers on Thursday. She's a treasurer. Katie Yates, Sandy Correa, Bob Donnell, he's a museum volunteer also. Juliana Halverson, everybody knows her.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Cloffer, he used to work at the library at NIMI before he retired. Friar Jarek Noraki,
Mm-hmm.
and Stephen Miller. He's a volunteer on Wednesdays.
Nice.
And Peggy Bolin, she's getting ready to do her, I think, camp.
She's doing Camp Invention, actually, as
Camp
we speak.
Invention.
Yeah,
that's
this
it.
week
Yeah.
it's going on, yeah.
Yeah. We were going to have her come out and help us with something. She says, well, I'm setting up Camp Invention. You want to come help me?
Yeah, she's like, what do you guys free?
Yeah. And she just recently made a trip to Iceland.
She was telling me about that. Well, yeah, she's her and her family, they do like to travel. That's pretty cool. So, yeah. But, this week she's tied up in STEM and STEAM-related projects out at the Catholic Church there. So
Right.
All Saints.
And Allie Bishop is not right now volunteering because she had a little episode where she was visiting somebody and was taking the dog out to the back, had a leash in her hand, and as they stepped out the door, there's a rabbit jumped out and the dog took off.
Uh-oh.
And right now she's waiting for surgery to have her upper part of her tibia repaired in her kneecap area.
Got
She-
taken on a ride.
But
huh?
she's in good spirits and stuff, but she's kind of out of,
Sometimes dogs
she's not
do
out
it,
jogging
sometimes-
around the block right now.
She's not ready to run a marathon.
No. So, anyway.
But always looking for more.
Yeah, our mission statement is to educate and inspire all generations concerning the history, the legacy of Walker Air Force Base, and encourage our youth to explore careers in science, technology, engineering, and math with an emphasis on aviation.
Very good.
Yeah.
And come see it. It is now. We can now actually come see it. That's something we haven't been able to say in a long time now. So the museum is now, like we said, for right now, it's just open maybe an hour and a half a day, depending on that lunchtime flying schedule. Again, go to aa.com there and type in Roswell to Dallas on the search thing, and you'll see. And it's that lunchtime flight, the one around 10, 11, right around that time.
Bob Donnell and I, maybe a month ago, went to the museum and kind of long overdue because the dust storms we've had.
Sure.
The 30 or 40 model airplanes that we have sitting in the hallway in that display.
They desperately need
behind
cleaning.
some glass. Had gotten dusty from the dust storms, and I think the window seals on the outside are not quite good enough.
Up to snuff.
So they're supposed to going to fix that up, or we're going to run in there and do that. Help them.
And that one
do
you
that.
have to go in with like little air guns and stuff.
Yeah, well, I looked it up. We used to take these really soft rags and try to clean them off.
Mm-hmm.
And I just unbelievable what you can do on Google. I went to my phone and I said, how do you clean delicate plastic model airplanes? And
There's probably a
comes right
whole
up,
thing on it, yeah.
Can of compressed air.
Yeah.
And a large makeup brush.
Okay.
So I went to Target and bought a really large couple large makeup brush, one for Bob, one for myself. And he had some compressed air. And I showed my wife, and she says, wow, that is really a lot better brush than I've got, for...
Next thing you know, she stole your makeup brush.
When I get through cleaning those 30 or 40 airplanes, you can use it.
That's right.
She said, get out of here. I'm not going to... But it works really well. That little brush just whips off the dust.
By the way,
really.
the brush is missing. Just saying.
Yeah. No, actually, we got it at the museum, so we can brush off.
It's under lock and key. We're good.
That's right.
But very good. But yeah, But if you look, and this is the thing too. If you love that side of things,
yeah,
they're always looking for volunteers to help out, because there is quite a bit of items that the museum does have under their ownership that does need to be maintained, stored, and kept up.
What we've done is what we used to call the Atlas Room. It's a little side room we have in our museum, and what we did is went ahead and put the flight simulators in there. Thanks to XL Energy's grant, we have two really nice flight simulators, and so we're gonna, when we try to get that going again, and if you're out there and you're interested in that, if you just give us a week or two notice of when you would like to come, and bring out some kids. We'd like to have, ideally, because we only have 2 flight simulators, if we can get 8 kids at a time, then we can put pilot, co-pilot on each flight simulator, and then the other 4, we can show them the 12 YouTubes on different careers.
Nice.
And then they do that for about an hour, and then they flip-flop around.
Well, good news is we can start getting those groups back in again and doing all that stuff back together again. It's all the band's back together, so we can do all that stuff.
That's right.
So.
Start doing that.
So reach out if you have a youth group organization that would like a personalized tour or want to learn more about the simulators and things. Please reach out. We are now able to do all these things. So
that's right.
Please reach out. Come out to the museum. Come out. Go to the website wafbmuseum.org. And you can reach out that way too. So whatever works best for you.
A really nice video that I show anyway. I know Bob Donnell shows it sometimes, but anyway, it's called the Enola Gay B-29 Super Fortress / the bomber that dropped the atomic bomb, and it's narrated by Gary Sinise, and it runs an hour and 28 minutes long. It gives you all the history of the Silver Plate bombers coming up and. The pilot, Paul Tibbets, and how he started out as a little kid. His dad sold, basically was a candy person, candy sales, and a guy came in with a new candy bar called the Baby Ruth, and he flew around for a week dropping Baby Ruth out of his airplane, and he needed somebody to help him, and 12-year-old Paul Tibbets got in there and did that, and after that he was hooked on flying. He was headed to
Baby Ruth.
He was headed to be a doctor, but he decided to be a pilot.
Well, it worked out well for him in the end there. But yeah, that's matter of fact, when we're talking the Enola Gay and everything else, and it's the history of that, and that's I love the I'm lucky enough to have seen the Enola Gay in person now, because it's now in D.C. in the Dulles. It's part of the Air and Space Museum, but it's not in the main museum in the city. It's actually in an annex that's out by Dulles Airport in Northern Virginia, in Manassas, Virginia area, and that's where the Enola Gay sits. They've got a space shuttle out there. They got a Concorde out there. It's really cool, but. For many years, the Enola Gay was under the property of the Smithsonian, but they didn't have it fully displayed. They had it in parts in a warehouse somewhere. I remember when I was a kid going into the main Air and Space Museum, and they had a feature on the Enola Gay, but they never had the whole plane in there. They had the front of it in there. You could go see the cockpit and the canopy. They had a couple of the props and everything, so you could kind of get a size comparison. But they never really, not the props, the jet engines, they really, they let you see that kind of stuff. But when they built the actual annex in Dulles some 20 years ago, that's when they reassembled the Enola Gay, and now that's where it's been for the last 20 years. So
yeah.
If you ever get a chance, go. It's out in Northern Virginia. It's not in D.C. proper, but go see it.
Yeah, just a couple of history tidbits. The Enola Gay boxcar and the Great Artiste and other Silver Plate B-29s, and the Silver Plate were planes that were modified to carry and deliver atomic bombs. And when I say that, the Silver Plate one had all their guns removed except for a tail gun, and some other items removed from the aircraft, saving about 7,000 pounds. So it made the plane a lot more maneuverable, and it could fly at 30,000 feet. And when it dropped the atomic bomb, it could dive about 2,000 feet and make a hard left turn or right turn and be able to get hopefully about 9 miles away before the bomb went off.
That's the thing, is you drop the bomb and then you got to get out of the blast radius.
Yeah. And when you think about that, nowadays, if you have a regular bomber and you just dropped a hydrogen bomb, and it just goes down, even though you turn and try to get away from it, likely you're going to have a hard time getting away from something really big.
Yeah.
They had a hard time because even at 9 miles, that would kind of shake the plane
You're
up.
still feeling that, yeah.
Where a hydrogen bomb, hundreds of times larger, would destroy the airplane that dropped it,
Yeah, and it's all, and then depending on the type of bomb, sometimes they have to dive it in, sometimes they have to do it from a higher, and they'll use something to slow the bomb's descent so it allows more time for the aircraft to get away. Sometimes you'll see parachutes on a bomb. They're really trying to slow its descent so the aircraft has time to get out of the blast radius. And so, nukes, that was probably something they had to figure out. All right, how far do we got to get before we're safe in the plane?
When they flew the atomic bomb missions, they flew out of Tinian. But before that, they were at Wendover Field in Utah. There's some misconception that a lot of folks, the Enola Gay boxcar and those planes that dropped the atomic bombs came from Roswell. And they did not come from Roswell. They came from Wendover Field, but they returned to Roswell, Army Airfield, after the war.
They spent time here, but they weren't assigned here at the time they were doing what they were famous for doing.
Because during World War II, Roswell was totally a training base for advanced pilots and bombardiers. And they trained about 14,000.
They never flew missions out of here. They weren't combat ready. They were basically training them to send them on to their combat squadrons, basically.
And Butch Blanchard, who was here during the 1947, he was a wing commander at Roswell during the flying disc or saucer event that occurred north of Roswell.
Yes, that ledge thing.
He was the operations officer at Tinian when the atomic missions took place. And he, Butch Blanchard, and Curtis LeMay initially felt like, our crews can drop that atomic bomb. So Paul Tibbets said, well, I'll tell you what. He took up Butch Blanchard in his aircraft during one of the practice drops when they dropped this pumpkin bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And they got up there, and then they whipped that plane around and made a high diving, to get out of the way. And long story short, when they landed, he said, you guys can take this mission. Well, we realized that this is a little bit more complicated than we thought it was.
Right. Like, it's out of our realm here.
Yeah, that's kind of like, okay. And a couple of interesting things that when they're dropping those practice runs with large, what they call pumpkin-shaped bombs, they was full of regular explosives, and they would do that. There was a couple episodes when they dropped the bomb went off about 10 seconds after they dropped it.
Ooh.
And they're thinking, okay. They would have been vaporized if that was the atomic bomb.
Yeah, that would have been a bad day.
So there was some things like they were a little anxious when they dropped the bomb, saying, okay, this don't go off until like about 43 seconds, and it gets down further. So
definitely makes you think about, yes, there was a lot of smart people doing a lot of smart things, but at the end of the day, there was a little of that old Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny cartoon where the bomb is going through and he hits it on the head with a hammer, and if it doesn't go off, he writes "dud" on the side. I mean, there's a little bit of that going on too.
Yeah. But quickly before we leave for the day, just kind of remind people, over the past years, we've had a lot of support from the Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development Corporation, Glenn's Furniture's giving us some stuff, 6th Bomb Wing Reunion Group, David Petroleum Corp., Joe Murray, and just other folks that provided funds for us to keep
the reason the museum's still
keep
with
our
us.
doors open and keep the stuff there. So, and also we've had some people that, like Ron Lynch, just built a lot of model airplanes and some rockets and stuff for us that we have on display. So,
Good deal.
Really appreciate it.
And if you'd like to get more involved, donate. If you're listening, we can always help out. Again, wafbmuseum.org. There is a Donate Now button there. Or if you'd like to reach out and do something more, sponsor something like that, please don't hesitate. They can always use more of all of that. So.
And on display right in front of the door as you walk in on the north wall, there's the Japanese, German, and Russian rifles from World War II. And that's one of the first things that the guys walk to. They come in the thing and they walk straight over there. And, it's not necessarily a Walker Air Force Base thing, but we've got a lot of little odds and ends.
It turns ahead and it gets people interested.
So,
love it.
That was donated by a guy up in Ruidoso. So.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, good deal. Well, good news. Again, this is as we started the interview, the Walker Air Force Base Museum or Walker Aviation Museum is back open. One day, about an hour and a half each day here during that lunchtime flying schedule. Again, to go to AA.com and type in Dallas, Roswell to Dallas, and it'll get the flight schedule there. And it's usually around that 10:30, 11 o'clock time frame. And come on by. It's free. Come check it out. See it. It's there right there in the air terminal. And, of course, if you want to learn more about youth groups coming in, or if you want to, learn more about the STEM side of it or the flight simulators, wafbmuseum.org. You'll find all of that. And if you're wanting to volunteer as docents or serve on the board or any capacity, come on down. Love to have you. Always looking. There's some really cool perks and fun things you get to do as being a volunteer there, too. So definitely take advantage of that. So, did we get it, Robert?
I think we got it.
Well, good deal. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And glad to see we're back open and come on. And while you're there, go ahead and get a burrito or something afterwards, because if you're hungry, they got great food out there, too.
And I hope Allie's Bishop's leg gets well soon.
And that's right. Hopefully, hopefully the dogs are calmer in her world today.
That's right.
Thank you, sir. 7:56. Let's pause for news. Quick break before more news. Don't go away.
For Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. A list published this week by the federal government claims Eddy County is harboring illegal immigrants. The list was published by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, identifying hundreds of counties and cities across the nation as so-called sanctuary jurisdictions. Eddy County is on the list, as is Chavez, Otero, and Lincoln counties, and the cities of Santa Fe and Albuquerque. Eddy County Sheriff Matt Hutchinson is publicly decrying the list, which actually was removed from the Department of Homeland Security website on Monday. The sheriff, Hutchinson, says the list is full of, quote, inaccurate information. He claims Eddy County is not a sanctuary for criminals and that he will always uphold his oath to defend the U.S. Constitution without discrimination. Artesia General Hospital is now serving as a provider for continuing medical education for healthcare professionals. AGH received accreditation for the NMMS programming that will run through May of 2027. The Daily Press reports the designation enables the hospital to offer locally accredited educational activities for physicians, nurses, technicians, and allied health professionals, further supporting clinical excellence and professional development in southeast New Mexico. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
And at what point does anyone ask the tough question, is there any degree of elder abuse here? Because it had to be worse behind the scenes. I think you saw the best of him. And Congressman Seth Moulton on with Bill Maher over the weekend saying part of the reason for the cover-up of Biden's mental fitness is because Democrats feared being honest would help Donald Trump. We also found out over the weekend, and this doesn't surprise me because we were calling it out at the time. Remember, they would not go to East Palestine. They were too busy. And now we find out the Biden White House insisted families were safe publicly, but they found that it was toxic and could cause cancer and warned of a cancer cluster, and they weren't telling the people of East Palestine.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Pure Talk, my wireless company, a veteran-owned company, believes every man, every woman who has faithfully served this country deserves to proudly fly an American flag that was made in America. And that's why Pure Talk is on a mission to give an allegiance flag, the highest quality American flag made in Charleston, South Carolina, to 1,000 veterans in time for these patriotic holidays. Just switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk. Do it this month, and a portion of every sale will go to provide these high-quality flags hand-sewn to the deserving vets. Now, with plans starting at just $25 a month for unlimited talk and text and plenty of data, you can enjoy America's most dependable 5G network, all while cutting your cell phone bill in half. Average family saves over $1,000 a year. You just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now. Pure Talk's customer service will make the switch. Pound 250, keyword save now, support our veterans, and switch to America's wireless company, Pure Talk.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report.
Well, like we say, the sports summer season doesn't really start until you have the Milkman Triathlon in Dexter. This is a triathlon that if you're in reasonable shape, you've been out running and biking, you might be able to do this if you've never done one before. It is on Saturday in Dexter. It begins with a swim in Lake Van. That's a 5K, actually a half K swim. And then you move on to the bicycling, which goes out to Bottomless Lake State Park. That's a 20K bicycle ride. And then it finishes with a 5K run through the Southwestern Native Resources and Recovery Center. Chocolate milk and ice cream await at the end. You can sign up at milkmantriathlon.com or trysignup.com. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have another low pressure system developing over the southwestern states. Might bring us some rain by tonight and tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine today. We're headed for the mid-80s. Overnight, scattered showers and thunderstorms, mid-60s on the low. A mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday. Still a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms. It'll be a lot warmer, high around 90. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Payroll processor ADP is chiming in with its May jobs report. It says just 37,000 private sector jobs were created last month. President Trump says it's time for the Fed to cut interest rates to spur economic growth. Tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from most countries have doubled to 50% as of today. President Trump says the U.S. has allowed itself to be ripped off by its trading partners for far too long. Toyota Motor Corporation shares rose 1.9% after announcing it was buying Toyota Industries, a maker of auto parts and lift trucks, for $33 billion and taking it private. Toyota Industries shares tumbled almost 12%. U.S. benchmark crude oil is priced at $63.42 per barrel after rising 1 penny. Brent crude rose 4 cents to $65.67. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rock out to Voyager, a spectacular tribute to the legendary rock band Journey, on Saturday, June 7th at 8 p.m. at the Spencer Theater. Voyager provides today's most entertaining and authentic Journey experience with songs such as Don't Stop Believin', Separate Ways, and Any Way You Want It. Tickets start at $66. Get yours online at spencertheater.com or call the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Steep Street Silver and Stones is Roswell's newest full-service jewelry store. They offer a complete selection of jewelry, including gold, silver, turquoise, bridal sets, and fine jewelry. They also offer lapidary, repairs, and complete custom design. Shop Sheep Street Silver and Stones, 3020 North Main in Roswell, across from Blake's. Sheep Street Silver and Stones. Hard to say, easy to love.
Do you want to improve the appearance of your smile or increase your self-esteem and confidence? Many people have already chosen to update their smile with veneers. Here at Carabelli Dental in Roswell, we work with our patients to understand their smile goals. With veneer treatment, we can eliminate gaps between teeth, solve the problems of stained teeth, and even perfect uneven or misshaped teeth. You owe it to yourself to have the smile you know is possible. Call us now.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 575-622-4455.
How do you find a roofing contractor you can trust? You can randomly pick one, cross your fingers and hope for the best, or maybe you can ask a psychic to predict who's trustworthy. Here's a better idea. Choose one who prefers using America's most trusted roofing brand, Owens Corning. And rest easy, because Owens Corning screens their contractors for reliability, professionalism, and customer service. Why take any chances? Owens Corning, trusted contractors, proven products. For an Owens Corning preferred contractor, visit owenscorning.com/roofing.
For a free estimate, give Do Right Roofing a call today, 575-623-2273.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Hey Roswell, it's time to honor our heroes. Church on the Move invites all veterans in Roswell and the surrounding area to a special Veterans Dinner Saturday, June 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at Cielo Grande Park. Enjoy a delicious steak dinner with your immediate household or up to 3 guests, all in the comfort of an air-conditioned tent. Just bring your DD-214 or military ID to attend. Don't miss the firework and drone show open to the public at sundown. For more information, call Church on the Move at 575-622-7011. Brought to you by Constructibles and Church on the Move.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 9:58. Got a minute or two here before we wrap up the show. If you missed any part of our show today, you can always go back and check it out at your leisure. Log on to ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel, and you'll find all of our videos there. This morning, we start off replaying our interview with Amy McVeigh-Tejas from the Historical Society, announcing the Heritage Dinner honorees this year, and also just talking about some other things happening with the Historical Society. We had Garrett Toddy, manager of the Roswell Invaders, join us in the 8 o'clock hour. Had a great conversation with him. They are in need of host families. If you'd like to host a player to live with you for the season, it's pretty cool deal. You just if you have basically a room with a bed available, and feed them and let them stay there for the baseball season. It's really cool. It's kind of like think of like foreign exchange students kind of deal. And a lot of families that do it love it, and so they are looking for some host families. And also they've got several camps for kids in the month of June with the Invaders as well. So we played that interview. And then we just replayed our interview we had with Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum with their big announcement that the museum is now back open after the closure due to the flooding damage and all that stuff. But they're back open and running, and they're running around that lunchtime flying schedule for American Airlines there. So you can check that out for their hours and all that there. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Have an amazing day. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Speaking with reporters, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's spoken to Elon Musk at length about the